The accidental magic that never stopped every magical child had accidental magic. The magic came in bursts, emotional, uncontrolled, the magical core responding to the child's feelings before the child learned to direct the response through an instrument. The hair growing back overnight, the teacher's wig turning blue, the glass at the zoo vanishing. Every magical child had accidental magic, and every magical child stopped having accidental magic when they received a wand. The wand was the transition. The wand took the raw, emotional, undirected magic of childhood and channeled it, gave it shape, gave it language, gave it the structure that the Hogwarts curriculum required. The wand was the instrument that converted accidental into intentional. The wand was the tool that turned a magical child into a wizard. Harry received his wand at 11. Holly and Phoenix Feather. The wand chose him in Ollivander's shop with the sparks and the warmth and the feeling of rightness. The wand chose Harry. Harry's magic did not choose the wand. The distinction was invisible at first. The distinction was invisible because the wand worked. Harry cast Lumos and the wand produced light. Harry cast Wingardium Leviosa and the feather levitated. The wand responded to Harry's intent and produced results, and the results were standard, and the standard was expected. But the accidental magic did not stop. For every other first year, receiving a wand terminated the accidental phase. The magical core attuned to the wand. The attunement was physiological, the core's output pathways reconfigured to channel through the instrument. The reconfiguration was automatic, unconscious, the magical equivalent of a river finding a new course. Harry's core did not reconfigure. Harry's core continued producing magic through the old pathways, the childhood pathways, the accidental magic pathways, the raw and emotional and undirected pathways that every other wizard abandoned at 11. Harry's wand worked. Harry's wandless magic also worked. Both systems were operational, both systems were active, and the two systems were in competition. The competition produced problems. Ollivander's warning Ollivander noticed. Ollivander, who had been fitting wands for 40 years and who could read a magical signature the way a sommelier read wine, noticed that Harry's signature was wrong. Not wrong as in defective, wrong as in not transitioning. Curious, Ollivander said, after the wand selection. After the sparks. Mr. Potter, may I ask you to cast a simple spell? I don't know any spells, Harry said. I'm 11. Point the wand at the feather on the counter, Ollivander said. And think up. Harry pointed the wand. Harry thought up. The feather levitated, through the wand, channeled, standard, and the 3 feathers on the shelf behind Harry also levitated. Without the wand pointing at them, without Harry thinking about them. The feathers levitated because Harry's intent up had travelled through both systems, the wand channel and the wandless channel. The intent had split. Ah, Ollivander said, looking at the floating feathers. That is what I suspected. What? Harry said. Your magic is bilateral, Ollivander said. The wand channels your intent, but the wand does not monopolize your intent. Your magic continues to express through the non-wand pathways simultaneously. The feathers behind me, Harry said. The feathers behind you levitated because your ambient magical output is active, Ollivander said. For most wizards, the ambient output ceases when the wand engages. For you, Mr. Potter, for you, the ambient output continues alongside the directed output. Is that bad? Harry. It is unprecedented, Ollivander said. In my experience, the bilateral expression, the simultaneous wand and wandless output, is not documented in the modern literature. Modern, Harry said. In the pre-wand era, before Ollivanders was established in 382 BC, wandless magic was the standard, Ollivander said. The wand was the innovation that replaced wandless casting. The replacement was total. Every wand using culture abandoned wandless casting because the wand was superior, more precise, more controllable, more reliable. But I didn't abandon it, Harry said. Your magical core did not attune exclusively to the wand, Ollivander said. The core maintains both channels. The wand channel is standard, functional, adequate. Adequate, Harry said. The wand channel is adequate because the core's resources are divided, Ollivander said. A core that devotes 100% to the wand produces strong wand magic. A core that devotes, I estimate, 60% to the wand and 40% to the wandless produces adequate wand magic and persistent wandless output. My wand magic is weaker because my magic is split, Harry said. Your wand magic is weaker and your wandless magic exists, Ollivander said. The trade-off is the condition. You keep saying the condition, Harry said, like it's a disease. It is a condition, Ollivander said. A state of being. Not a disease. But not standard. The wand will serve you, Mr. Potter. But the wand will never be your only channel. And the other channel will produce effects. Unintended effects. The kind of effects that the accidental magic of childhood produces. I'm going to keep having accidental magic, Harry said. Even with a wand. You are going to have two types of magic operating simultaneously for the rest of your life, Ollivander said. The management of the two is... The management will be the work. Hogwarts. The classroom problem. Harry's first week at Hogwarts established the problem. Charms. Flitwick asked the class to cast Lumos. Harry cast Lumos. The wand tip lit. And the 3 nearest candles also lit. The candles were not part of the assignment. The candles lit because Harry's wandless channel responded to the intent light alongside the wand channel's response. Mr. Potter, Flitwick said. Did you light the candles? Not intentionally, Harry said. But you lit them, Flitwick said. My magic. It does things, Harry said. Extra things. Extra things, Flitwick repeated. Looking at the candles. Looking at Harry. Looking at the wand. Mr. Potter, do you have difficulty containing your magical output to the wand? I have difficulty containing my magical output to anything, Harry said. Transfiguration. McGonagall asked the class to turn matchsticks into needles. Harry turned his matchstick into a needle. Harry also turned Ron's matchstick into a needle. And Hermione's. And Neville's. The intent matchstick to needle had travelled through both channels, and the wandless channel had applied the intent to the nearest available matchsticks. You transformed 4 matchsticks, McGonagall said. The assignment was 1. I only meant to do 1, Harry said. The other 3 happened, Harry said. The other 3 happened because because the intent went wider than the wand. Wider than the wand, McGonagall said. Mr. Potter, are you telling me that your magical intent expresses beyond the wand's directed output? I'm telling you that when I think turn the matchstick into a needle, all the matchsticks near me turn into needles, Harry said. All of them, McGonagall said. Within about 10 feet, Harry said. 10 feet, McGonagall said. Your wandless magical output has a radius of 10 feet. Approximately, Harry said. It's... Inconsistent, McGonagall repeated. And then, after a pause, Mr. Potter, please remain after class. After class, McGonagall assessed Harry's bilateral output. The assessment involved asking Harry to cast simple spells while McGonagall monitored the ambient magical effects within the classroom. The results? Harry's wand output was approximately 30% below expected for a first year. Harry's wandless output was approximately 40% of his total magical capacity, expressing as ambient effects within a radius that varied between 5 and 15 feet depending on the strength of the intent and Harry's emotional state. Your total magical output is normal, McGonagall said. The distribution is abnormal. 60% through the wand. 40% through the air. Through the air, Harry said. Through your body, McGonagall said. Through your skin, through your hands, through. The wandless output radiates from you like body heat. The radiation affects magical systems within the radius. Magical systems, Harry said. Enchantments, McGonagall said. Potions ingredients. Magical creatures. Other people's spells. Your ambient output interacts with every magical system in your proximity. That's going to be a problem, Harry said. That is going to be a significant problem, McGonagall said. Potions. The Snape problem Snape discovered Harry's condition in the worst possible way, through failed potions. Every potion Harry attempted failed. Not because Harry was incompetent, because Harry's ambient magical output interfered with the brewing process. Potions required precise magical conditions. The ingredients responded to ambient magic. Harry's ambient output, the 40% that leaked through his wandless channel, contaminated the brewing environment. The Forgetfulness potion requires neutral ambient conditions, Snape said. October, after Harry's third failed potion. The ambient conditions at your station are not neutral. I can't control my ambient, Harry started. Then you cannot brew, Snape said. If you cannot produce neutral ambient conditions, you cannot produce potions. The contamination from your condition renders the ingredients unreliable. My condition, Harry said. Your bilateral magical expression, Snape said, which Ollivander documented, which Flitwick has reported, which McGonagall has assessed, and which is, in my classroom, producing failures. I'll try harder. Trying harder will not resolve a physiological condition, Snape said. Your magical core expresses through two channels. The wandless channel contaminates my classroom. The contamination cannot be willed away. So what do I do? Harry said. You sit in the corner, Snape said. You observe. You take notes. You do not touch the ingredients. You're banning me from practical potions, Harry said. I am separating a contaminant from my laboratory, Snape said. I'm not a contaminant, Harry said. Your ambient magical output is a contaminant, Snape said. The distinction between you and your output is relevant, but insufficient. Harry sat in the corner. Harry observed. Harry took notes. The corner became Harry's permanent position in potions, the same position he'd occupied in the other timeline, but for different reasons. In the other timeline, Snape had banished Harry to the corner out of prejudice. In this timeline, Snape banished Harry to the corner because Harry's magical radiation ruined potions within a 10-foot radius. He put you in the corner again, Ron said, after class. He put me in the corner because I ruined Neville's cauldron by sitting next to it, Harry said. Your magic ruined Neville's cauldron, Ron said. My ambient output destabilized the shrinking solution, Harry said. The solution reacted to my wandless magic and turned green and grew 3 inches and tried to climb out of the cauldron. The solution tried to climb out, Ron said. The ambient magic animated the organic components, Harry said. The daisy roots started growing in the cauldron. Growing daisy roots in a shrinking solution, Ron said. That's Harry. That's spectacular. That's a T on the assignment, Harry said. The Dueling Club, Lockhart's Surprise the Dueling Club in second year, was the first public demonstration of what happened when Harry's wandless magic activated in combat. Snape and Lockhart. The demonstration duel. Lockhart's theatrical incompetence. And then, the student duels. Mr. Potter and Mr. Malfoy, Snape said. Harry and Draco faced each other on the platform. The dueling protocol, wands raised, the count, the first spell. Expelliarmus. Draco cast. The disarming charm, aimed at Harry, designed to knock Harry's wand from his hand. The spell hit. Harry's wand flew. Standard disarming, the wand arced through the air and clattered to the floor. Harry was disarmed. Harry was not defenseless. Rictus Sempra, Harry said. Without a wand, the words spoken, the intent directed, the magic channeled through the wandless pathway that had never closed. The tickling charm hit Draco. Wandlessly, without an instrument. Harry had cast a spell through his hand, through his body, through the 40% of his magical output that did not require a wand. The Great Hall went silent. 200 students watching a 12-year-old boy cast a spell without holding a wand. He cast without, Lockhart said, looking at the scene, looking at Harry's empty hand, looking at the wand on the floor. Without a wand, Snape finished. Looking at Harry with an expression that was, not surprise, Snape had read the reports. Snape knew about the bilateral expression, but knowing about the condition and seeing the condition demonstrated in combat were different things. That's impossible, Lockhart said. That is clearly not impossible, Snape said. As we have just witnessed. Draco recovered from the tickling charm. Draco looked at Harry, at the boy who had been disarmed and who had cast anyway. The looking carried fear, because the fundamental assumption of magical combat was disarm your opponent and they are helpless. Harry had been disarmed and had not been helpless. You cast without a wand, Draco said. I cast without a wand, Harry confirmed. That's how, Draco said. My magic doesn't need a wand, Harry said. The wand helps, but the magic works without it. You can't be disarmed, Draco said, the sentence carrying the weight of its implications, the implications that every wizard in the room was processing. You can't disarm Harry Potter. The foundational tactic of magical combat, Expelliarmus, the disarming charm, the first line of defense, does not work against Harry Potter. I can be disarmed, Harry said. The wand comes out of my hand. The spells are weaker without the wand, but yes, I can still cast. Weaker spells without a wand, Draco said. But still, spells, Harry confirmed. That changes everything, Draco said. I know, Harry said. Hermione's analysis U should have been born before 382 BC, Hermione said, in the library, after the dueling club. With books, 12 books, pulled from the restricted section with a note from McGonagall covering the history of wandless magic. 382 BC, Harry said. The year Ollivanders was founded, Hermione said. Before Ollivanders, before the European adoption of wands. Wandless magic was the standard. Wizards cast through their hands, through their bodies, through focused intent without an instrument. So I'm old-fashioned, Harry said. You're pre-modern, Hermione said. Your magical architecture is, Harry, your magical architecture is pre-wand. The way your core distributes output is the way pre-wand wizards distributed output. The bilateral expression, the wandless channel, is the original human magical system. The wand replaced it, Harry said. The wand improved it, Hermione said. The wand gave precision, control, repeatability. The wand transformed magic from an art into a science. The trade-off was, one magic is superior in every measurable way. Except one. Except what? Harry said. Except you can't take it away, Hermione said. A wand can be disarmed. A wand can be snapped. A wand can be confiscated. A wandless caster cannot be disarmed. The magic is in the person. The magic is in the person, Harry repeated. Which is why wandless magic was abandoned, Hermione said. Not because it was inferior. because it was uncontrollable. The European wizarding authorities adopted the wand system because the wand system was regulatable. The Ministry can register wands. The Ministry can trace wand use. The Ministry can confiscate wands as punishment. The trace? Harry said. The trace detects underage wand use. The trace detects underage wand use, Hermione said. The trace does not detect wandless casting. My wandless magic is invisible to the Ministry, Harry said. Your wandless magic is completely undetectable by the trace, Hermione said. You can cast wandlessly at the Dursleys' house, and the Ministry will never know. That's why the Ministry will want to control you, Hermione said. A wizard whose magic is undetectable by Ministry surveillance is a wizard the Ministry cannot regulate, and a wizard the Ministry cannot regulate is a wizard the Ministry considers dangerous. Dangerous because they can't track me, Harry said. Dangerous because you represent the failure of the regulatory framework, Hermione said. The entire system, the trace, wand registration, the decree for the reasonable restriction of underage sorcery, the entire system is built on the assumption that magic requires a wand. You disprove the assumption. I don't want to disprove anything, Harry said. I just want my magic to work normally. Your magic is working normally, Hermione said. It's working the way magic worked for thousands of years before wands. The abnormality is everyone else. Year 2. The Chamber and Wandless Parseltongue, the Chamber of Secrets crisis, produced an unexpected interaction between Harry's wandless magic and his Parseltongue. Parseltongue was, in itself, a form of wandless magic, the magical ability to communicate with snakes through a language that required no instrument. The language was produced by the speaker's magical core, channeled through the vocal cords, directed by intent. Harry's Parseltongue, channeled through his wandless system, was stronger. Stronger because the wandless channel carried 40% of Harry's magical output, and because the wandless channel was the natural pathway for abilities that didn't require an instrument. Open, Harry said, in Parseltongue. At the sink in Myrtle's bathroom, the sink opened. Standard, expected, but the opening was larger. The passage that the Parseltongue command produced was wider than the standard passage. The widening was the wandless channel's amplification, the intent open expressed through the wandless system with more force than the wand system would have produced. The passage is big, Ron said. Looking at the opening, I may have over-enthusiasted the Parseltongue, Harry said. Is over-enthusiasted a word? Hermione said. It is now, Harry said. The amplification of Parseltongue through the wandless channel had implications that extended beyond the chamber. The amplification meant Harry's wandless magic boosted non-wand magical abilities. Parseltongue. The Patronus. Any spell or ability that could be cast without an instrument was stronger through the wandless channel than through the wand. The Patronus discovery happened in 3rd year during Lupin's lessons. Expecto Patronum. Harry cast. Through the wand. The Patronus formed. The stag, corporeal, standard strength. Now try it without the wand, Lupin said. If your wandless channel is stronger for non-instrument magic, Expecto Patronum, Harry said. Without the wand. Through his hands. Through the wandless channel. The stag that formed was bigger, brighter. The Patronus produced through the wandless channel was approximately twice the strength of the wand-channeled version. The stag filled the office. The stag's light was blinding. That's a significant difference, Lupin said, shielding his eyes. The wandless channel is the natural pathway for the Patronus, Hermione said, from behind the desk, where she had been observing. The Patronus is an emotional spell. It's powered by memory and feeling, not by precise wand movement. The wandless channel, which is the emotional channel, the accidental magic channel. The wandless channel is optimized for emotional magic. Emotional magic is stronger without a wand, Harry said. Emotional magic is stronger through the channel that was built for emotion, Hermione said. The wand channel was built for precision. The wandless channel was built for power. Precision versus power, Harry said. The trade-off that every magical culture negotiated when they adopted wands, Hermione said. The European wizarding world chose precision. You, Harry, you have both. Both at 60%, Harry said. Both at 60% of what a dedicated channel would produce, Hermione said. Which is still formidable. Year 3. The Dementors and the Wandless Patronus, the Dementor on the Hogwarts Express, demonstrated the Wandless Patronus in a crisis. Harry was in the compartment. The Dementor entered. The cold, the despair, the memories, Lily screaming. Harry reached for his wand. Harry fumbled the wand, dropped it, the wand falling between the seats. Unreachable, the Dementor advanced. Harry was wandless. Harry was, not defenceless. Expecto Patronum, Harry said, through his hands, through the wandless channel, through the emotion-optimized pathway. The stag erupted from Harry's palms, not from a wand tip. The stag was enormous. The wandless Patronus, powered by the emotional channel, was the doubled strength version that Lupin had documented. The stag filled the compartment, filled the corridor, pushed the Dementor back not just from the compartment but from the train. The Dementor retreated. The stag pursued. The stag, twice normal size, radiating light, the concentrated emotional magic of a boy whose wandless channel turned grief into power. Lupin, who had been about to cast his own Patronus, watched the stag clear the corridor. You cast that without a wand, Lupin said. After, when the warmth returned, when the chocolate was distributed, when the compartment stopped rattling. I dropped my wand, Harry said. You dropped your wand and cast a corporeal Patronus through your hands, Lupin said. A Patronus that was strong enough to repel a Dementor from a moving train. The wandless Patronus is stronger, Harry said. The wandless Patronus is terrifyingly strong, Lupin said. Harry, a Patronus of that magnitude, cast without an instrument, at age 13. That's a capability that the DMLA would classify. Classify, Harry said. Classify as a strategic asset, Lupin said. The ability to cast a Patronus without a wand means you can never be rendered defenseless against Dementors. The Dementors cannot disarm you because your Patronus doesn't require something they can take. The Ministry won't like that, Harry said. The Ministry won't like any of it, Lupin said. A wizard who can't be disarmed, who can't be traced, whose emotional magic is amplified through a pre-wand channel. Harry, the Ministry's entire regulatory framework assumes wand dependence. You are wand independent. I still use a wand, Harry said. The wand helps. For precision, for the curriculum stuff, for the precision magic that Hogwarts teaches, Lupin said. But for the magic that matters, the magic that saves your life, you don't need the wand. The magic that matters is the emotional magic, Harry said. The Patronus, the shield charm, the disarming charm. The stunning spell Lupin listed, the combat magic, the survival magic, the magic that you need when someone is trying to kill you. That magic through your wandless channel is stronger than through the wand. My survival magic is wandless, Harry said. Your survival magic has always been wandless, Lupin said, since you were 15 months old. The night Voldemort attacked, the night Lily's sacrifice protected you. The protection was wandless. The protection was emotional magic, love, sacrifice, channeled through Lily's body without an instrument. Mum cast wandlessly, Harry said. Your mother's final spell was wandless, Lupin said. The most powerful protective magic ever documented was cast by a woman who didn't have time to reach for her wand. Year 4. The tournament, the Tri-Wizard Tournament, was the event that demonstrated Harry's wandless capability to an international audience. The first task, the dragon. The summoning charm, Accio Firebolt, cast through the wand. Standard, but when Harry was on the broom, dodging the Horntail's fire, the wand was awkward, holding a wand and a broom simultaneously. While performing aerial maneuvers at 60 miles per hour was impractical, Harry stowed the wand. Harry flew with both hands on the broom. And when the Horntail's tail whipped toward him and Harry needed a shield charm, Harry cast it wandlessly. Protego, Harry said, through his left hand. While his right hand gripped the broom, the shield formed from his palm, from his body, without the wand that was in his pocket. The shield held. The tail deflected. The crowd watched a 14-year-old boy cast a shield charm from his palm while flying a broomstick past a dragon. He didn't use his wand, Bagman said, from the judges' seats. He cast a shield charm without a wand while flying at altitude during a dragon encounter, Dumbledore said. Is that legal? Bagman said. There is no rule in the Triwizard Tournament that requires wand use, Dumbledore said. The rules require magic. The rules do not specify the instrument. Because the rules assume a wand, Bagman said. The rules assume many things, Dumbledore said. The assumptions are being revised. The second task demonstrated the wandless advantage underwater. Wands were difficult to use underwater. The movements were imprecise. The water resistance affected the casting. Harry's wandless magic, which did not require movements, was unaffected by the aquatic environment. Harry cast the bubblehead charm wandlessly, through his face, through his intent, the charm forming around his head without a wand gesture. The charm was cast while Harry was already submerged, already running out of air, already in the situation where fumbling with a wand would have cost precious seconds. He cast underwater without a wand, Fleur said. Afterward, in the champion's tent. The precision was low, Harry said. The precision was low. The bubble was lopsided. The wandless casting doesn't do precision well. The bubble was lopsided, and you survived, Fleur said. The precision is secondary to the survival. Lopsided survival, Harry said. That's about right. Year 5. Umbridge and the Quill Umbridge's blood quill detention produced a response that Umbridge did not anticipate. I must not tell lies, Harry wrote, with the quill, on the parchment. The blood seeping, the words carving. Harry was in pain. Harry was angry. Harry was emotional. The emotional state activated the wandless channel. The wandless channel produced effects. The desk cracked. The crack appeared in the wood, running from Harry's hands outward, the desk's structure responding to the ambient magical output that Harry's emotional state was producing. The crack was followed by a hum, the low subsonic vibration that concentrated wandless magic produced. What are you doing? Umbridge said. I'm writing lines, Harry said. You're? The desk? Umbridge looked at the crack, at the humming desk. At the boy whose hands were bleeding and whose ambient magical output was destabilizing the furniture. The desk is reacting to my magic, Harry said. My magic reacts to my emotions. My emotions react to being tortured. You are being disciplined, Umbridge said. My magic doesn't know the difference, Harry said. The desk cracked further. The crack was spreading. From the desk to the floor, from the floor to the wall. The wandless output, amplified by pain and anger, was radiating through the room. The radiation was structural. The ambient magic was interacting with the enchantments in the walls, the enchantments in the floor, the magical infrastructure of the castle. Stop, Umbridge said. I can't stop, Harry said. I can't control it. The wandless magic responds to emotion. The emotion responds to pain. You are causing pain. The pain is producing magic. The magic is uncontrolled. I will confiscate your wand, Umbridge said. My wand is in my bag, Harry said. My wand is not involved. The magic that is cracking your desk is coming from my body. Umbridge stared at Harry, at the boy whose magic was cracking her desk, and whose wand was in his bag, and whose condition meant that the standard disciplinary tool, confiscation of the wand, was meaningless. "You may go," Umbridge said. "The detention is over?" Harry said. "The detention is suspended," Umbridge said. "Pending. Review? Review of what?" Harry said. "Review of appropriate disciplinary methods for a student who destroys furniture through ambient magical output," Umbridge said. "You could try not torturing students," Harry said. "That would probably reduce the furniture destruction." "Out," Umbridge said. Harry left. The desk continued to crack for approximately 6 hours after Harry's departure. The cracking stopped when the emotional residue, the pain and anger that Harry's wandless magic had deposited in the wood, dissipated. Umbridge did not give Harry detention with the blood quill again. The decision was not compassion. The decision was structural. The desks in Umbridge's office cost 12 galleons each. The Dar, teaching wandless the Dar, Dumbledore's army, gave Harry the opportunity to explore whether wandless magic could be taught. "Can you teach us?" Neville asked. In the room of requirement, after watching Harry demonstrate a wandless shield charm. "I don't know if it can be taught," Harry said. "My wandless magic isn't. I didn't learn it. The channel was always there. The channel it's physiological." "But the pre-wand cultures taught wandless magic," Hermione said. "The Wagadu school in Uganda teaches wandless magic as the primary system. Wandless magic is learnable. Learnable by people whose cultures never adopted wands," Harry said. "European wizards have spent centuries attuning their cores to wands. The attunement might make wandless, I don't know." "Harder, try," Neville said. "Please," Harry tried. The teaching was difficult. The difficulty was the wandless channel required the caster to direct intent without the wand's assistance. The wand served as a focusing instrument. The wand movements directed the magic. The wand core amplified the magic. The wand itself was a crutch that European wizards had been using for 2,000 years. Removing the crutch was hard, like learning to write with the non-dominant hand. The capability existed. The practice was painful. "Focus on your hands," Harry told the Dar. 23 students, wands on the floor, attempting wandless lumos. "The magic is in your body. The magic has always been in your body. The wand channels it. But the magic is yours, not the wand's." 23 students focused on their hands. 23 students tried to produce light without an instrument. 2 succeeded. Neville produced a faint glow from his right palm. The glow was weak, barely visible, but present. The glow was the first wandless light that Neville Longbottom had ever produced, and the producing was visible on Neville's face. The face of a boy who had spent 5 years believing his magic was weak, and who was now producing magic through his own body without the crutch that had always felt wrong in his hand. "I did it," Neville said, looking at his palm. At the glow. I without the wand. "I? You did it," Harry confirmed. "The wand always felt wrong," Neville said. "My gran's wand, my dad's wand, the wands they didn't fit. And this feels right," Harry said. "This feels right," Neville said, looking at the glow, at the wandless light, at the magic that was coming from him, not from an inherited wand that had never been his. The second success was Luna. Luna's wandless lumos was brighter than Neville's. Luna's wandless light was produced with the serene, unconcerned ease that Luna brought to everything. The ease of a person who did not find it strange that magic could come from the body because Luna did not find anything strange. "That was easy," Luna said, looking at the light in her palm. "For whom?" Ron said, from across the room, where Ron's palm was producing nothing. "For anyone who doesn't overthink it," Luna said. "I'm not overthinking," You're thinking about the wand, Luna said. You're thinking about the wand that's on the floor. Stop thinking about the wand. Think about the light. Think about the light, Ron repeated. That's not instructions. That's a philosophy. Philosophy and instructions are the same thing in different clothing, Luna said. They are absolutely not, Ron stopped. Because his palm was glowing. Faintly, barely, but glowing. You stopped thinking about the wand, Luna said. I stopped thinking about everything, Ron said. I was too busy arguing. Arguing is an excellent meditation technique, Luna said. It is absolutely not. Ron's palm glowed brighter. Keep arguing, Harry said. It's working. Year 6. Dumbledore's assessment the wandless capability is your strategic advantage, Dumbledore said. In the office. 6th year. During the Horcrux discussion. The wandless capability is my condition, Harry said. The condition is an advantage, Dumbledore said. In the confrontation with Voldemort, the confrontation that the prophecy requires, the wandless capability means Voldemort cannot disarm you. Voldemort can kill me, Harry said. Voldemort can attempt to kill you, Dumbledore said. But the standard tactic, Expelliarmus, followed by the killing blow, the standard tactic does not apply. Disarming you does not render you defenseless. The wandless magic is weaker, Harry said. 60% of a wand's output. 60% of a wand's output for precision magic, Dumbledore said. For emotional magic, the Patronus, the shield charm, the combat magic, the wandless channel produces twice the wand's output. For specific spells, Harry said. For the spells that matter in combat, Dumbledore said. The spells that will determine whether you survive the confrontation. You've been calculating this, Harry said. I have been calculating this since your first year, Dumbledore said. When McGonagall reported the matchstick incident, I have been calculating the strategic implications of a wizard who cannot be disarmed, whose combat magic is amplified through a wandless channel, whose emotional output doubles the standard wand capacity. You've been calculating me as a weapon, Harry said. I have been calculating you as a survivor, Dumbledore said. The weapon calculation is inevitable. But the primary calculation is, can Harry Potter survive the confrontation with Voldemort? And the answer, with the wandless capability, is, the probability is higher than without. Higher than what? Harry said. Higher than the alternative, Dumbledore said. The alternative in which you are a standard wand-dependent wizard who can be disarmed by the most powerful dark wizard in history. The wandless magic gives me a chance, Harry said. The wandless magic gives you an edge, Dumbledore said. An edge that Voldemort does not expect, because Voldemort, like every wand-trained wizard, assumes that magic requires a wand. Voldemort will attempt to disarm you. The disarming will succeed, the wand will leave your hand. And Voldemort will believe, for the seconds that follow, that you are defenseless. The seconds that follow, Harry said. The seconds between the disarming and the realization that the disarming was insufficient, Dumbledore said. Those seconds are the edge. Year 7. The Battle of Hogwarts. May 2nd. Harry fought with both channels. The wand, for precision. The stunning spells aimed at specific targets. The disarming charms that required accuracy. The shield charms that needed to cover specific angles. The wandless, for power. The Patronus that cleared entire corridors. The shield charm that covered the Great Hall's entrance. The blasts of unfocused magic that knocked Death Eaters off their feet through sheer ambient force. The combination was effective. The combination was also exhausting, because running two magical channels simultaneously was the physiological equivalent of running while lifting weights. Possible, but not sustainable. He's fighting with both hands, Kingsley said. during the battle. Watching Harry cast a wand stunner with his right hand while producing a wandless shield from his left. He's fighting with his entire body, Lupin said. Beside Kingsley. The wandless output is, the ambient magic is pushing Death Eaters back physically. Physically, Kingsley said. The wandless channel at full emotional engagement produces a force field, Lupin said. The field is, imagine standing near a fire. The heat pushes you back. Harry's wandless magic produces the same effect. The ambient output is physically repellent at close range. He's a magical radiator, Kingsley said. He's a combat radiator, Lupin said. The radiation is keeping the Death Eaters at a distance. The radiation was also keeping Harry's allies at a distance. The ambient output did not discriminate. The field pushed everyone back, friend and foe. The pushing was the condition's combat liability. Harry could not fight alongside allies because his ambient output affected everyone in the radius. "Stay back," Harry shouted. To Ron. To Hermione, who were trying to fight beside him and who were being pushed back by the ambient field. "We can't get close," Ron shouted back. Harry, your magic is pushing US. I can't turn it off," Harry said. The combat engagement, the emotions, the wandless channel is at maximum. "At maximum, you're a repulsion field," Ron said. "At maximum, I'm a repulsion field," Harry confirmed. "Stay back. Fight from a distance. I'll handle the close range." Harry handled the close range. Alone, in the corridors and the courtyards and the Great Hall, Harry fought with both channels at maximum output, the wand in his right hand casting precision, the wandless channel radiating from his entire body casting power. The combination was devastating. The combination cleared corridors. The combination held the Great Hall entrance for 40 minutes. The combination produced the tactical situation where a single 17-year-old could hold a position against multiple attackers because the attackers could not get close enough to target him. "He's holding the entrance alone," McGonagall said. From the Great Hall, watching Harry in the corridor, watching the Death Eaters trying to advance and being pushed back by the ambient field. "He's a castle wall made of magic," Pomfrey said. "He's a person made of magic," McGonagall said. "And the person is exhausted." The exhaustion was visible. Running 2 channels at maximum for 40 minutes depleted Harry's magical core the way sprinting depleted glycogen. Rapidly, totally, Harry's spells weakened. The ambient field contracted. The 10-foot radius became 8, then 5, then 3. "He's failing," Hermione said. "Watching, he's depleted," Ron said. "He needs to stop," Hermione said. "He can't stop," Ron said. "If he stops, the corridor is open. If he doesn't stop, he burns out," Hermione said. Harry burned out at the 50-minute mark. The burnout was the magical equivalent of cramping. The core, depleted beyond sustainable levels, shut down the wandless channel to preserve the wand channel. The ambient field collapsed. The radiation stopped. Harry stumbled. Without the ambient field, Harry was a standard wizard. A standard wizard with a wand and standard strength spells and the standard vulnerability of a person who could be disarmed. Ron and Hermione reached him. Ron on one side, Hermione on the other, the 2 people who had spent 6 years beside a boy whose magic pushed them away and who had learned to stay close anyway. "The channel burned out," Harry said. I'm just the wand now." "Just the wand is enough," Ron said. "Just the wand is 60%, Harry said. 60% of Harry Potter is more than 100% of most people, Hermione said. "That's thanks," Harry said. "That's math," Hermione said. "Not a compliment." The final confrontation, Voldemort. The Great Hall. The Circle. "Harry Potter," Voldemort said. "The boy who lived. Come to die." "Tom," Harry said. The duel began. Voldemort cast first, the killing curse, the green light, the spell that had rebounded once and that Voldemort was certain would not rebound again. Harry did not cast Expelliarmus through the wand. Harry raised his left hand, the wandless hand, the empty hand, and cast the disarming charm through his body. The wandless Expelliarmus was emotional magic. The emotional channel, the doubled strength channel. The spell was powered by everything. 6 years of fear and courage and loss and love, and the specific, concentrated, absolute emotional commitment that Harry brought to the final moment. The Expelliarmus and the killing curse met. The meeting was different from the priori incantatum. The priori incantatum required connected wands. This was not connected wands. This was a wand spell meeting a wandless spell. The instrument versus the body, the modern versus the ancient, the precision versus the power. The wandless Expelliarmus won. The Elder Wand, Voldemort's wand, the one that was technically Harry's by right of conquest, flew from Voldemort's hand. The wand travelled through the air, and Harry caught it with his right hand, the wand hand, the 60% hand. Voldemort stood wandless. The killing curse, severed from the wand, dissipated. Voldemort was disarmed. And Voldemort, who had spent his entire life assuming that magic required a wand, did not know how to fight without one. Harry did. "It's over." "Tom," Harry said, holding the Elder Wand in his right hand. His left hand, the wandless hand, extended toward Voldemort. Ready, capable, the hand that could cast without an instrument. You cast without, Voldemort said. Looking at the empty left hand, looking at the spell that had come from the body. The casting was, "You don't need I never needed the wand," Harry said. The wand was always optional. Voldemort's killing curse had rebounded. The Elder Wand, loyal to Harry, had turned the curse back. The curse hit Voldemort. Voldemort died. Voldemort died looking at a boy's empty hand and understanding, in the last second, that the fundamental assumption of the wizarding world, magic requires a wand, was wrong. Had always been wrong. The magic was never in the wand. The magic was in the wizard. After Harry Potter at 40 was the head of the Auror Office and the founder of the Wandless Magic Initiative. The initiative was controversial. The initiative proposed that Hogwarts introduce wandless magic as a supplementary curriculum alongside the standard wand-based education. The proposal was opposed by most of the wizarding establishment, because the establishment was built on wand dependence, and because wand dependence was built on the assumption that wands were necessary, and because assumptions that had been maintained for 2,000 years did not change easily. Wandless magic is. The evidence supports its inclusion, Hermione said. At the Wizengamot hearing, where the initiative was being debated, the Wagado School has taught wandless magic for centuries with outcomes that match or exceed European standards. Wagado's cultural context is different, the opposition said. Wagado's magical context is the same, Hermione said. The magical core is identical across all human populations. The core can be channeled through a wand or through the body. The choice of channel is cultural, not biological. The choice is also regulatory, the opposition said. The trace cannot detect wandless magic. The introduction of wandless curricula would undermine the ministry's ability to monitor underage magical use. The trace was designed for a wand-dependent population, Hermione said. If the population is no longer exclusively wand-dependent, the trace must be updated. Updated how? The opposition said. That is a technical problem, Hermione said. Technical problems are solvable. The political problem is not solvable, the opposition said. A population of wandless casters is a population that cannot be regulated. A population of wandless casters is a population that cannot be disarmed, Harry said, from the gallery, where he was watching. And a population that cannot be disarmed is a population that is safer. Safer for whom? The opposition said. Safer for everyone, Harry said. Voldemort rose to power by disarming his opponents. Grindelwald rose to power by disarming his opponents. Every Dark Lord in history rose to power by exploiting the fact that wand-dependent wizards are defenseless without their wands. The implication being that wand dependence is a vulnerability, Harry said. A vulnerability that Dark Lords exploit. A vulnerability that wandless training would reduce. You're proposing that we train children in wandless magic to prevent Dark Lords, the opposition said. I'm proposing that we train children to use the magic they were born with, Harry said. The magic that exists in their bodies. The magic that doesn't need an instrument. The magic that cannot be taken away. The initiative passed, narrowly, after 3 years of debate and 7 Wizengamot votes, and the specific, implacable, Harry Potter grade refusal to stop arguing. Hogwarts introduced wandless magic as an elective in 2010. The elective was taught by nobody, initially, because no Hogwarts professor had wandless experience. Harry taught it. For the first year, until a permanent instructor was hired from Wagadu, a woman named Adeze Okafor, who had spent 30 years teaching wandless magic in Uganda, and who regarded the European wizarding world's wand dependence with the polite bewilderment of a person who could not understand why anyone would use a stick when they had perfectly good hands. The stick is a crutch, Adeze told her first class at Hogwarts. In 2011. The crutch is useful. The crutch helps you walk when you are learning. But the walking is yours. The legs are yours. The magic is yours. The magic is ours, a student repeated. The magic has always been yours, Adeze said. The wand helped you find it. The hands help you keep it. Keep it, the student said. Nobody can take your hands, Adeze said. Nobody can disarm your body. The magic that comes from you, from your blood, from your bones, from your intent, that magic is permanent. That magic is you, Harry watched from the doorway. Harry watched the first generation of Hogwarts students learn what he had always known. The magic was not in the wand. The magic was in the wizard. The wand was a tool. The body was the source. The source had always been there. The source would always be there. The source was the condition. And the condition, finally, was not Harry's alone. The condition was everyone's. Let us know what you'd like to see next. More scenes the Dursleys. What wandless magic looked like at home the Dursleys' house was the laboratory where Harry's wandless magic developed without supervision, without instruction, and without anyone understanding what was happening. At 6, Harry made the kitchen tap run backward. Not the water, the tap handle. The handle turned counterclockwise without being touched while Harry was washing dishes and thinking about how much he disliked washing dishes. The disliking was the emotional trigger. The tap was the target. The wandless magic, operating through the accidental magic channel that would never close, translated the emotional state into a physical effect. The tap is broken, Petunia told Vernon. The tap is not broken, Vernon said, looking at the tap which was now running normally. The tap is fine. The tap ran backward, Petunia said. Taps don't run backward, Vernon said. This tap ran backward, Petunia said, while the boy was touching it. The boy did not break the tap, Vernon said. The boy is 6. 6-year-olds do not break plumbing. The plumbing disagreed. Over the following 3 years, Harry's ambient magical output produced a toilet that flushed upward, a shower that produced cold water regardless of the temperature setting, and a garden hose that followed Dudley around the yard like a snake. The plumbing in this house is possessed, Vernon told the plumber. The plumbing in this house is fine, the plumber said. The plumbing is better than fine. The pipes are unusually clean. The water pressure is excellent. The water pressure produces upward flushing toilets, Vernon said. I cannot explain upward flushing toilets, the plumber said. I can confirm that the pipes are structurally sound. The pipes were structurally sound because Harry's ambient magic maintained them. The maintaining was unconscious. The wandless channel, operating continuously, produced ambient effects on the nearest systems. The nearest systems in a house were plumbing, electrical, structural. Harry's ambient magic maintained the plumbing, disrupted the electrical, and reinforced the structural. The cupboard is in very good condition, the estate agent said. Years later, when the Dursleys eventually sold the house, the wood under the stairs is in better condition than the rest of the house. As if something was preserving it. The something was a boy whose magic leaked from his body and maintained the space around him, and who had spent 10 years unconsciously enchanting a cupboard because the cupboard was his home and the magic maintained what it loved. Age 8, the Dudley incident at 8, Harry's wandless magic produced its most dramatic pre-Hogwarts effect. Dudley's gang, Dudley, Piers, Dennis, Malcolm, Gordon, cornered Harry in the alley behind Magnolia Crescent. The cornering was routine. The gang cornered Harry approximately twice a week. The twice a week produced running, hiding, the specific survival skills that Harry developed in Muggle suburbia. This time, Harry could not run. The alley was blocked. The gang was between Harry and the exit. "Nowhere to go, Potter," Dudley said, with the particular satisfaction of a child who had been given everything and who found pleasure in taking from the one person who had nothing. Harry's back was against the wall. The wall was brick. The wall was part of the physical environment that Harry's ambient magic interacted with constantly. "Leave me alone," Harry said. "Make me," Dudley said. Harry's magic made him. The wall behind Harry heated, not to burning temperature, to uncomfortable temperature. The bricks behind Harry warmed, the warmth spreading outward in a wave, the wave travelling through the wall and through the alley floor. The wave was not fire. The wave was ambient magic expressed as thermal energy, the magical core's fight or flight response translated into heat. The alley heated. The asphalt beneath the gang's feet became warm, then hot, then uncomfortable. Heat was not dangerous. The heat was approximately the temperature of asphalt on a very hot summer day. But the heat was unexpected, and the unexpectedness produced what the heat was designed to produce: confusion. "The ground is hot," Piers said, dancing from foot to foot. "The ground is... what?" Dudley said. "The ground is hot," Piers repeated. "The ground is burning." The gang retreated. The retreating was not from Harry. The retreating was from the hot ground that Harry's ambient magic had produced. The retreating was the first time Harry's wandless magic had defended him through environmental manipulation rather than through direct effects. Harry noted the experience. Harry at 8 did not understand what had happened. Harry understood only that the ground had gotten hot and the gang had left, and the getting hot had come from him, from his body, from the feeling of being trapped and scared, and the feeling translating into heat. The heat faded. The alley cooled. The experience was filed in the place where Harry filed all the unexplainable things: the growing back hair, the blue wig, the vanishing glass. The experience would be understood later. At Hogwarts. When Ollivander's diagnosis provided the framework, and when Hermione's research provided the historical context, the understanding would be Harry's wandless magic operated through environmental modification. The magic did not attack. The magic changed the environment. The environment then produced the effect. The distinction between direct magic and environmental magic was Harry's wandless channel's defining characteristic. The wandless channel did not target. The wandless channel radiated. The radiation modified the environment, and the modified environment produced the tactical outcome. The distinction would later define Harry's combat style, not a duelist who aimed at opponents, but a radiator who changed the battlefield, Year 1. The Troll incident demonstrated wandless environmental magic in a crisis. Harry and Ron entered the bathroom. The troll was there, 12 feet tall, club raised, Hermione against the wall. Harry drew his wand. Harry cast Wingardium Leviosa at the club. The wand spell worked, the club levitated. Standard, and the wandless channel activated. The bathroom responded. The water in the pipes that ran through the walls, through the floor, beneath the bathroom's foundations, the water responded to Harry's ambient output. The pipes rattled. The taps burst. The water erupted, not randomly, but directionally. The water hit the troll. The water was cold. The water was pressurized. The bathroom's plumbing, enhanced by Harry's ambient magic, produced water pressure that was approximately 3 times normal. The pressurized cold water hit the troll at approximately 40 psi. The troll stumbled. The stumbling was not the club on head knockout of the other timeline. The stumbling was the troll slipping on wet tile while being blasted by high-pressure water from 6 burst pipes simultaneously. The troll fell. The troll hit the floor. The floor was wet. The troll could not stand. The pipes, Ron said, looking at the burst plumbing, at the water, at the troll lying on the wet floor, trying to stand and failing because the wet tile was frictionless. My magic did the pipes, Harry said, looking at his hands, at the wand in his right hand and the empty left hand. The wand did the club, the other thing did the pipes. The other thing, Ron said. The wandless thing, Harry said. The ambient thing. I can't control it. The pipes just burst. The pipes burst and knocked down a troll, Ron said. The pipes burst because I was scared and the magic went into the plumbing, Harry said. Your fear operates through plumbing, Ron said. My fear operates through the nearest environmental system, Harry said. At the Dursleys it was the kitchen tap. Here it's bathroom pipes. Your magic has a relationship with pipes, Ron said. My magic has a relationship with everything nearby, Harry said. Your magic needs therapy, Ron said. McGonagall arrived. The troll was subdued. The bathroom was destroyed, not by the troll, by Harry's ambient output. The pipes burst, McGonagall said, looking at the water, at the destroyed plumbing, at the troll, which was lying in 4 inches of water. Mr. Potter's ambient magical output destabilized the plumbing system during the crisis, Dumbledore said, arriving behind McGonagall. The destabilization produced a tactical advantage. The destabilization produced a flood, McGonagall said. The flood produced a subdued troll, Dumbledore said. The flood produced a subdued troll and a destroyed bathroom, McGonagall said. Collateral damage from uncontrolled ambient output, Dumbledore said, which is exactly the concern I raised in September. The concern you raised was theoretical, McGonagall said. This is a destroyed bathroom. Theory and practice have converged, Dumbledore said. Theory and practice have converged in 4 inches of water, McGonagall said. Year 1. Ron's discovery Ron discovered something about Harry's ambient magic that the professors hadn't noticed. Your chess pieces are better, Ron said. January, in the common room. After a chess game. My chess pieces are the same chess pieces, Harry said. Your chess pieces are smarter, Ron said. The knight that always goes to b4 for no reason, the knight has stopped going to b4. The knight is making good decisions. Chess pieces don't make decisions, Harry said. Enchanted chess pieces make decisions, Ron said. The enchantment gives them basic tactical intelligence. The intelligence is limited. The pieces are supposed to follow standard patterns. Your pieces are following better patterns. Because your ambient magic is upgrading the enchantment, Ron said. The same way your ambient magic upgrades everything. The Remembrall, the candles, the Harry. Every magical object near you is being improved by your ambient output. Improved, Harry said. The enchantments near you are being enhanced, fed. Your ambient magic is fertilizer for enchantments. I'm fertilizer for chess pieces, Harry said. You're fertilizer for everything magical, Ron said. The portraits in the common room are more talkative when you're here. The fire burns brighter. The sorting hat talked to you for 3 minutes. The hat talks to most people for 30 seconds. The hat had a lot to say, Harry said. The hat was powered by your proximity, Ron said. The hat's enchantment was fueled by you. So everything magical near me gets better, Harry said. Everything magical near you gets more, Ron said. More enchanted, more active, more magical. That includes people, Hermione said. From behind a book. Listening. People are magical, Ron said. People's magic is enhanced by Harry's proximity, Hermione said. If the ambient output enhances enchantments, it would also enhance the magical cores of nearby wizards. The enhancement would be small, marginal, but measurable. My friends cast better spells because they're near me, Harry said. Your proximity enhances ambient magical capability in nearby wizards, Hermione said. The enhancement is, Harry, the enhancement explains why the Gryffindor Quidditch team has been performing above statistical expectations. The Quidditch team is better because I'm on the team? Harry said. The Quidditch team performs better when you're physically present because your ambient output enhances their magical capabilities, which enhances their physical performance through magic-dependent athletic attributes, Hermione said. I'm a performance-enhancing wizard, Harry said. You're a proximity-dependent magical amplifier, Hermione said. He's wizard steroids, Ron said. That is not the preferred terminology, Hermione said. That is the accurate terminology, Ron said. Harry makes everyone around him better at magic. That's steroids. That's ambient magical enhancement, Hermione said. That's steroids with a library card, Ron said. Year 2, the Chamber of Secrets confrontation demonstrated what happened when Harry's wandless channel engaged with a magical environment designed for wandless use. The chamber was pre-wand. The chamber was built by Salazar Slytherin in approximately 990 AD, before the Ollivander standardization, before the wand became the dominant instrument. The chamber's enchantments were designed for wandless interaction. The doors responded to pass-al-tong. The mechanisms were voice-activated, touch-activated. The chamber was built for a world where magic came from the body. Harry entered the chamber, and the chamber responded to him the way Hogwarts responded to him, but more. The chamber's enchantments, designed for wandless wizards, recognized Harry's wandless channel as the primary channel. The recognition produced amplification. The chamber is alive, Harry told Hermione. Afterward, in the hospital wing, the chamber responded to my magic. The enchantments in the walls, they activated. When I walked through the chamber, the walls lit up. The mechanisms moved. The doors opened without pass-al-tong. The doors opened without pass-al-tong? Hermione said. The doors opened because the enchantments recognized my wandless output, Harry said. The chamber was built for wandless wizards. The chamber was built before wands. The enchantments they're designed for my kind of magic. Pre-wand enchantments, Hermione said. The oldest enchantments in the castle, designed for the original magical system. And my magic is the original system, Harry said. Your magic is? Harry, your magic is compatible with the chamber's enchantments in a way that nobody else's magic is, Hermione said. Because everybody else is wand-tuned. The wand tuning makes them incompatible with pre-wand enchantments. I'm compatible with 1,000-year-old magic, Harry said. You're compatible with all old magic, Hermione said. The chamber. The castle's original enchantments. The Forbidden Forest's ambient magic. Any magical system that predates wand adoption. The old world responds to me, Harry said. The old world recognizes you, Hermione said, because you're the first wizard it's seen in 2,000 years who speaks its language. The basilisk fight itself was different. Harry fought the basilisk with both channels. The wand, for the sorting hat, for summoning Gryffindor's sword. The wandless, for the environmental effects that the chamber's enchantments amplified. Harry's ambient output, amplified by the chamber's pre-wand enchantments, produced effects that Harry could not have produced alone. The water in the chamber's channels moved at Harry's emotional command. The stone walls shifted, slightly, subtly, the chamber's architecture responding to Harry's distress by narrowing the passages that the basilisk used. The chamber was helping you, Ron said, when Harry described the fight. The chamber's enchantments were responding to my wandless output, Harry said. The enchantments amplified the output. The amplification produced effects that I wouldn't have gotten alone. The chamber was on your side, Ron said. The chamber was on the side of the wandless wizard, Harry said. I happened to be the only one available. Year 3, Sirius and the Shrieking Shack confrontation produced a tactical situation that demonstrated the wandless channel's combat advantage. In the shack, Harry, Ron, Hermione, Lupin, Sirius, and Pettigrew. The confrontation, the truth about the secret keeper, the revelation about Pettigrew, the emotional intensity of the scene. Snape arrived. Snape disarmed Harry, the wand flying from Harry's hand, the standard Expelliarmus. Harry was disarmed. Harry was not defenseless. Stay back, Harry said, to Snape. With the empty hands raised, the wandless hands, the hands that could cast. You are disarmed, Potter, Snape said. Your wand, my wand is on the floor, Harry said. My magic is in my body. Snape paused. Snape, who had read the reports, who knew about the bilateral expression, who had watched Harry contaminate potions classes for 3 years through ambient output, Snape paused because Snape understood that disarming Harry Potter was not the same as disarming other wizards. You would cast without a wand, Snape said. Against a fully armed professor, I would cast a Patronus without a wand, Harry said. The wandless Patronus is twice the strength of the wand Patronus. You can have my wand, you cannot have my Patronus. A Patronus is not a combat spell, Snape said. A Patronus produced at double strength in a confined space is disorienting, Harry said. At minimum. Try me. You are 13, Snape said. I'm 13, and I'm wandless, and I'm standing between you and Sirius Black, and I will cast the biggest Patronus you've ever seen if you don't put your wand down. The standoff lasted 30 seconds. 30 seconds during which a 13-year-old boy, without a wand, faced down a professor with a wand, and the professor blinked. The blinking was the recognition. Disarming Harry Potter did not produce a defenseless opponent. Disarming Harry Potter produced a boy with empty hands and full magical capacity, and the specific, terrifying resolve of a person who had spent his entire life learning that the magic was in him, not in the stick. Snape did not put his wand down. The situation resolved through other means. The stunners from Harry, Ron, and Hermione that knocked Snape unconscious. But the standoff was the proof. The wandless capability changed the tactical calculus of every confrontation Harry entered. Standard tactics, disarm, then dominate, did not apply. Year 4. The graveyard confrontation was the first full combat demonstration of Harry's bilateral system against Voldemort. Voldemort returned. The Death Eaters gathered. Harry was tied to the headstone. Cedric was dead. Untie the boy, Voldemort said. Give him his wand. Harry was untied. Harry received his wand. The duel was supposed to be wand against wand. Voldemort against a 14-year-old. The Dark Lord demonstrating superiority. The duel was not wand against wand. Crucio. Voldemort cast. The Cruciatus Curse, aimed at Harry. Harry dodged. The dodge was physical, the curse missing by inches. Harry raised his wand, the wand channel, the precision channel, and cast a shield charm. The shield formed between Harry and Voldemort. Simultaneously, Harry's wandless channel activated. The wandless channel, triggered by the combat stress, by the fear and the grief and the rage of watching Cedric die, the wandless channel produced ambient effects. The headstones nearby moved. Not dramatically, subtly, the headstones shifted in the earth, the stone monuments responding to Harry's ambient output the way the bathroom pipes had responded, the way the chamber's walls had responded. The shifting produced cover. The headstones angled toward Harry, creating barriers between Harry and the Death Eaters in the circle. "He's moving the graves," a Death Eater said. From the circle. "The boy is using the environment," Voldemort said, looking at the shifted headstones, at the barriers, at the 14-year-old who was using a graveyard's furniture as tactical cover through ambient magical manipulation. Avada Kedavra. Voldemort cast. Expelliarmus. Harry cast. The Priori Incantatem. The Golden Thread. The Bead. The Competition of Wills. During the Priori Incantatem, during the minutes where Harry and Voldemort were locked in the wand connection, Harry's wandless channel continued operating. The ambient output continued. The graveyard continued to respond. The earth softened beneath the Death Eater's feet. The ground, responding to Harry's ambient magic, became muddy, unstable, difficult to stand on. The Death Eaters shifted, stumbled, the ground beneath them unreliable. The golden thread broke. Harry ran. The Death Eaters pursued and stumbled because the ground was mud and the mud was Harry's ambient output, and the output had converted stable ground into an obstacle. Harry reached the portkey. Harry grabbed Cedric's body. Harry escaped. The escape was facilitated by the ambient magic, by the environmental modification that the wandless channel produced, the headstones for cover, the mud for delay, the environment as ally. "He used the graveyard against us," Lucius Malfoy reported. To Voldemort. "After, the boy's ambient magic modified the environment," Voldemort said. The modification is concerning." "Concerning?" Malfoy said. "The boy does not need to aim his magic," Voldemort said. "The boy's magic affects everything around him. The boy turns the environment into a weapon. The boy is a different kind of threat." "A different kind," Malfoy said. "A threat that cannot be disarmed," Voldemort said. "A threat that uses the world as a wand." Year 5, the Ministry hearing. Extended the Ministry's response to Harry's wandless capability escalated in 5th year. The decree for the reasonable restriction of underage sorcery hearing, the hearing for the Patronus cast in Little Whinging, produced an unexpected legal argument. "Mr. Potter cast a Patronus charm on August 2nd, Fudge said. In the courtroom, "I cast a Patronus to defend myself and my cousin from Dementors," Harry said. "The Patronus was detected by the trace," Fudge said. "The wand Patronus was detected by the trace," Dumbledore said. From the gallery, "The wand Patronus." "Which Mr. Potter cast first, through his wand?" "First?" Fudge said. "Mr. Potter cast 2 Patronuses on August 2nd, Dumbledore said. The first through his wand, detected by the trace. The second through his wandless channel, not detected by the trace." "A second Patronus," Fudge said. "The second Patronus was stronger than the first," Dumbledore said. "The second Patronus was the one that actually repelled the Dementors. The first Patronus, the wand Patronus, was insufficient." "The wand Patronus was insufficient," Fudge repeated. "Mr. Potter's wand channel operates at approximately 60% of his total magical capacity," Dumbledore said. "The remaining 40% channels through the wandless pathway. The wand Patronus, at 60% capacity, was insufficient to repel 2 Dementors. The wandless Patronus, at double the wand's output, was sufficient. You're telling me that the spell the trace detected was not the spell that repelled the Dementors, Fudge said. I'm telling you that the trace detected the weaker spell, Dumbledore said. The stronger spell, the spell that saved 2 lives, was invisible to the trace. Because the trace cannot detect wandless magic, Fudge said. Because the trace was designed for a wand-dependent population, Dumbledore said. Mr. Potter is not wand-dependent. The trace's limitations are not the issue, Fudge said. The trace's limitations are exactly the issue, Dumbledore said. You are prosecuting a boy for a spell that the trace detected. You are ignoring the spell that the trace could not detect. The prosecution is based on partial surveillance data. The prosecution is based on the available data, Fudge said. The available data is incomplete because the surveillance system cannot detect the defendant's primary magical output, Dumbledore said. Prosecuting based on incomplete surveillance is, Minister, the legal term is defective evidence. The evidence is not defective. The evidence is defective because the surveillance instrument is incapable of monitoring the defendant's magical activity, Dumbledore said. The trace monitors wand use. Mr. Potter's primary magical output is wandless. The monitoring is therefore inadequate. The hearing produced acquittal on the grounds that the trace data was insufficient to establish the full picture of the magical event. The acquittal was narrow. The narrowness was political rather than legal. He got off, Ron said. Afterward, he got off because the trace can't see half his magic, Hermione said. Which is a legal precedent that the Ministry will spend the next decade trying to close. The Ministry will spend the next decade trying to see my magic, Harry said. The Ministry will spend the next decade developing a trace that can detect wandless output, Hermione said. Can they? Harry said. I don't know, Hermione said. The current trace detects wand signatures, the specific magical resonance that a wand produces during use. Wandless casting doesn't produce a wand signature because there's no wand, so they'd need a different detection method, Harry said. They'd need to detect ambient magical output directly, Hermione said, which is like detecting body heat. Everyone produces it. The detection would have to distinguish between passive ambient output and active wandless casting. Can the distinction be made? Harry said. I don't know, Hermione said, and I hope it takes them a very long time to figure out. Year 5. The DAR. Extended the DAR's wandless training produced results and problems. The results over the course of 5th year, approximately half the DAR members developed basic wandless capability. The capability was limited, most could produce wandless lumos, and nothing else. But the producing was significant because the producing demonstrated that wandless magic was learnable, not innate. 12 out of 23, Hermione said, at the last meeting. Tallying the wandless results. 12 members can produce a wandless lumos, 4 can produce a wandless shield charm, 2, Neville and Luna, can produce wandless offensive spells. Neville can cast wandless offense, Harry said. Neville's wandless stunner knocked over a training dummy yesterday, Hermione said. The stunner was, weak, approximately 20% of a wand stunner, but present. Neville, Harry said. Looking at Neville, at the boy who had spent 5 years being told his magic was insufficient, and who was now producing wandless spells that nobody else at Hogwarts could produce. The wand never fit me, Neville said, when asked. My Gran's wand, Dad's wand, the wands were wrong, like wearing someone else's shoes. The wandless is my magic, from my body. No wand to be wrong. Your magic is strongest without an intermediary, Hermione said. My magic is strongest when it's mine, Neville said. The problems, the DAR's wandless training attracted Umbridge's attention. Umbridge's response was regulatory, Umbridge drafted Educational Decree number 31. The practice of wandless magic by students is prohibited within the Hogwarts grounds. She's banning wandless magic, Harry said, reading the decree. Pinned to the notice board. She can't ban a physiological condition, Hermione said. She's banning the practice of wandless magic, Harry said. Not the condition, the practice. The distinction is meaningless, Hermione said. Wandless magic is not a practice for you. Wandless magic is your default state. You produce wandless output constantly. You cannot stop producing wandless output. Banning the practice is banning your existence. Banning my existence is probably her goal, Harry said. Her goal is control, Hermione said. The decree is the first step toward criminalizing wandless magic in Britain. Criminalizing wandless magic, Harry said. The European wizarding world adopted wands 2,000 years ago specifically because wandless magic was uncontrollable, Hermione said. The adoption was a policy decision. The decision was force everyone to use wands because wands can be regulated. The decision was, Harry, the decision was exactly what Umbridge is doing now, using regulation to eliminate a magical practice that the authorities can't monitor. The authorities eliminated wandless magic 2,000 years ago, Harry said. And you brought it back, Hermione said. Year 6. Snape's occlumency and the wandless channel Snape's occlumency lessons in 6th year produced an unexpected interaction between occlumency and the wandless channel. Occlumency is the art of closing the mind, Snape said, in the dungeon office. The art of preventing external magical access to your thoughts and emotions. I know what occlumency is, Harry said. You know the theory, Snape said. The theory is insufficient. The practice requires the ability to separate thought from emotion. The separation is your primary obstacle. Why? Harry said. Because your wandless channel is emotional, Snape said. Your wandless output is triggered by emotional states. Occlumency requires the suppression of emotional expression. The suppression of emotional expression would, potentially, reduce or eliminate your wandless output. Occlumency would shut down my wandless magic, Harry said. Occlumency would provide control over your wandless magic, Snape said. The control that you currently lack. The control that would prevent the contamination of my potions laboratory. The destruction of Umbridge's furniture. The spontaneous environmental modification that your emotional states produce. You want me to learn occlumency so I stop breaking your cauldrons, Harry said. I want you to learn occlumency so you can choose when the wandless channel activates, Snape said. Currently, the activation is involuntary. The involuntary activation is dangerous. Dangerous to your cauldrons, Harry said. Dangerous to everything, Snape said. The involuntary activation during combat produced environmental modification in a graveyard. The modification was tactical. It helped you escape. The modification could equally have produced collapse, a landslide, the destruction of structures containing people. The wandless magic could kill people, Harry said. The uncontrolled wandless magic could produce environmental effects that result in casualties, Snape said. The distinction is control. With control, the wandless channel is a tactical asset. Without control, the wandless channel is an environmental hazard. An environmental hazard that you want me to manage through mind magic, Harry said. I want you to manage it through discipline, Snape said. Occlumency is discipline. The discipline of the mind applied to the control of the magical output. Harry learned occlumency. The learning was difficult because occlumency and the wandless channel were in opposition. Occlumency sought to suppress emotional expression. The wandless channel was powered by emotional expression. Learning to suppress the expression without eliminating the channel was like learning to dim a light without turning it off. The dimming is possible, Snape said, after 3 months. The dimming is, you can reduce the ambient output to approximately 10% without eliminating the channel. 10% ambient output, Harry said, instead of 40. 10% ambient output during normal operation, Snape said. Full output, the 40%, available when you choose to engage the channel. I can turn it up and down, Harry said. You can manage it, Snape corrected. The management is not a switch. The management is a valve. The valve requires constant attention. Constant attention, Harry said, like Moody's constant vigilance. Moody's constant vigilance was paranoia, Snape said. Your constant attention is necessity. The two are superficially similar, fundamentally different. The occlumency training produced control. The control was imperfect. The control was a valve that required attention, not a switch that stayed in position. But the control was. The control was the thing that made the wandless capability usable rather than merely present. With control, Harry could suppress the ambient output in classrooms, engage the ambient output in combat, and, critically, choose between the wand channel and the wandless channel rather than running both simultaneously. You're no longer leaking, Snape told Harry, in June. At the last lesson. Your ambient output is managed, Harry said. Controlled, Snape said. Which is the first time I have used the word controlled in reference to your magical output. Is that a compliment? Harry said. That is an observation, Snape said. From you, that is a compliment, Harry said. Do not push your luck, Snape said. Year 7. The Horcrux Hunt demonstrated the wandless channel's utility in situations where wand magic was insufficient. The locket's Horcrux influence was detectable through the wandless channel. Harry's ambient perception registered the locket's corruption as a distortion in the magical environment. The distortion was the locket radiated negative emotional influence, and Harry's wandless channel, which was tuned to emotional magic, felt the radiation. The locket is pushing, Harry told Ron and Hermione, while carrying the Horcrux. The locket radiates. Negativity, the radiation affects the emotional state. We know it affects the emotional state, Ron said. We've been wearing it. The radiation is targeted, Harry said. The radiation is, the locket identifies the emotional vulnerability and amplifies it. For Ron, the vulnerability is self-doubt. For Hermione, the vulnerability is fear of failure. And for you, Hermione said, for me, the vulnerability is anger, Harry said. The locket amplifies anger. The anger amplifies the wandless output. The amplified wandless output produces environmental instability. Your wandless magic gets stronger when you wear the locket, Hermione said. My wandless magic gets angrier when I wear the locket, Harry said. Stronger and angrier and less controlled. That's weaponizable, Hermione said. That's dangerous, Harry said. The locket is using my wandless channel against me. The channel amplifies emotion. The locket amplifies negative emotion. The combination is a feedback loop. A feedback loop that makes you more powerful and less controlled, Hermione said. A feedback loop that makes me a hazard, Harry said. The locket's destruction required Gryffindor's sword, wielded by Ron, applied to the open locket. But the opening required Parcel Tong, and the Parcel Tong, channeled through Harry's wandless system, produced an opening that was amplified by the locket's own negative energy. Open, Harry said, in Parcel Tong. Wandlessly, the locket blew open, not the controlled opening that the other timeline produced, an explosive opening the locket's halves blasting apart, the Horcrux exposed, the wandless Parseltongue having delivered an open command that was amplified by the locket's own energy and by Harry's emotional state. "Stab it," Harry shouted. Ron stabbed. The sword destroyed the Horcrux. That was violent, Ron said, looking at the destroyed locket. The wandless Parseltongue was amplified by the locket's energy, Harry said. The amplification produced overkill. Overkill is a word for it, Ron said. The battle extended the Battle of Hogwarts with Harry's wandless capability at full occlumency controlled capacity, produced a combat performance that the witnesses would describe for decades. Harry fought on two channels. The wand, in his right hand, casting precision spells at specific targets. The wandless, from his body, his left hand, the ambient field, producing the environmental modification and the emotional magic amplification that the wandless channel was designed for. The environmental modification was, Harry changed the battlefield. The corridors narrowed when Death Eaters entered them, Harry's wandless output interacting with the castle's enchantments, the castle's pre-wand architecture responding to Harry's pre-wand magic, the castle and Harry collaborating the way the chamber had collaborated 4 years earlier. "The castle is helping him," McGonagall said, watching from the Great Hall. "The castle's pre-wand enchantments are responding to Mr. Potter's wandless output," Flitwick said, beside her. "The enchantments were built for wandless wizards. Mr. Potter is the first wandless wizard the enchantments have encountered in centuries. The castle has been waiting for him," McGonagall said. "The castle has been waiting for someone whose magic speaks its language," Flitwick said. The repulsion field was the most dramatic effect. At full engagement, full emotional output, full wandless channel, the occlumency valve wide open. Harry produced a physical force field that pushed everything away. The field's radius was approximately 15 feet at maximum. The field was invisible, physical, exhausting. "Stay back," Harry shouted to his allies. As the field engaged, the Death Eaters could not approach. The Death Eaters who tried were pushed back. Physically, the ambient magic-producing force that the body could not resist. The pushing was not violent, the pushing was gradual, like standing in a strong wind. But the wind was constant, and the wind increased with proximity, and the Death Eaters could not get close enough to target Harry with spells, because the field deflected everything, including spells at the outer boundary. "He's a fortress," Kingsley said. "He's a fortress that's burning out," Lupin said, because the fortress was exhausting. The full channel engagement at maximum output was metabolically devastating. The field consumed Harry's physical reserves at a rate that was unsustainable. The burnout happened at 50 minutes. The channels collapsed, not sequentially, simultaneously. The wandless channel shut down. The wand channel weakened. Harry dropped to his knees in the corridor, empty, the magical reserves depleted. Ron and Hermione reached him. The reaching was possible because the field was gone. "I'm done," Harry said. "The channels are..." "You're not done," Ron said. "You're resting." "The channels are empty," Harry said. "The channels will refill," Hermione said. "Magical core depletion is temporary. The core regenerates." "How long?" Harry said. "For a standard wizard, 4 to 6 hours, Hermione said. "For you, the bilateral system regenerates differently. The wandless channel may recover faster, because the wandless channel is the primary system." "How fast?" Harry said. "I don't know," Hermione said. "Nobody's ever measured bilateral regeneration rates because nobody else has bilateral channels. The wandless channel regenerated in 40 minutes. The regeneration was, Hermione's hypothesis was correct. The The wandless channel, which was the older system, which was the original human magical architecture, regenerated faster than the wand channel because the wandless system was designed for rapid recovery. The pre-wand magical system had evolved for combat, for situations where the wizard needed to deplete and recover and deplete again. "I'm back," Harry said, 40 minutes later. Standing, the wandless channel operational. "At what percentage?" Hermione said. 40, Harry said. "The wandless is back. The wand channel is still recovering. So you're at 40% wandless," Hermione said, which is your full wandless capacity. You're at full wandless with no wand channel. "I'm a wandless wizard," Harry said. "You're a pre-wand wizard," Hermione said, "for the next few hours." "Then let's finish this like a pre-wand wizard," Harry said. Harry finished the battle wandlessly. The wand in his pocket, unused, both hands free. The magic flowing through his body the way magic had flowed through human bodies for 10,000 years before Ollivanders was founded. The pre-wand magic was enough. The pre-wand magic was for the combat that mattered, the emotional combat, the survival combat, the shield charms and the Patronuses and the raw force repulsion. The pre-wand magic was more than enough. And the final duel, the Expelliarmus against the Killing Curse, was cast wandlessly from Harry's left hand, through the original channel, through the body. The magic was never in the wand. The magic was in the wizard. The wizard was enough. Final scenes year 3, the Boggart Lupin's Boggart lesson produced a revelation about Harry's wandless channel. Harry's turn. The Boggart transformed. The class expected. Nobody knew what Harry's Boggart would be. The class expected Voldemort, or a Dementor, or something from Harry's catalogue of traumas. The Boggart became a wand. A single wand, floating in the air. Holly and Phoenix Feather. Harry's wand. The Boggart wand floated at eye level, perfectly ordinary, perfectly familiar. Then the Boggart wand snapped. The snapping was the fear Harry's Boggart was, his wand breaking. Harry's greatest fear was being reduced to wand-only status and then losing the wand. Being reduced to nothing. The class looked confused. The class expected monsters. The class got a broken stick. Ridiculous. Harry cast, wandlessly, because facing a Boggart of his broken wand while holding his actual wand felt wrong. The wandless ridiculous turned the broken wand into a pair of chopsticks. "Interesting choice," Lupin said. After class, in his office. "Your Boggart was your wand breaking. If my wand breaks, I'm at 40%, Harry said. The wandless channel can't do precision. The wandless channel does power and emotion. Without the wand, I can't do transfiguration, potions prep." "The academic magic. Your fear is academic failure," Lupin said. "My fear is being incomplete," Harry said. The system requires both channels. Without the wand, the precision is gone. Without the wandless, the power is gone. I need both." "Most people need one," Lupin said. "Most people have one," Harry said. "I have two. And each one is partial. Each one is 60% of a full wizard. Together I'm 120%. Separately I'm fragments, Lupin said. "Fragments of a whole wizard," Harry said. "The wand half can do precision but not power. The wandless half can do power but not precision. Neither half is complete, Harry," Lupin said. "UARE complete. The two channels together I'm fine," Harry said. "But the Boggart knows what I know. The channels can be separated. The wand can break. The wandless can burn out. And either failure makes me half. Half of you is more than most people's whole," Lupin said. "Half of me is insufficient," Harry said. "For what's coming?" "What's coming?" Lupin said. "The prophecy," Harry said. "Voldemort. The confrontation that everyone tells me is inevitable. The confrontation that will require everything, both channels, full output, the precision and the power. And you're afraid you won't have both when the time comes, Lupin said. I'm afraid one will fail at the wrong moment, Harry said. Fear of failure at the critical moment, Lupin said. Harry, that's not a magical fear, that's a human fear. It's both, Harry said. It's both, Lupin agreed. Year 4. Cedric Diggory's death in the graveyard produced the most extreme wandless activation Harry had experienced to that point. The grief. The rage. The seeing Cedric fall. The emotions activated the wandless channel at a level that the occlumency training could not have suppressed. The graveyard erupted. Not metaphorically, the wandless output, channeled through grief and rage, produced environmental effects at a scale that exceeded every previous episode. The headstones cracked. The earth trembled. The trees at the graveyard's edge bent inward as though pushed by a wind that existed only at the magical level. What is he doing? Wormtail said, looking at the ground, at the cracking headstones. He is grieving, Voldemort said, looking at Harry, looking at the environmental destruction, looking at the boy whose emotions were literally reshaping the landscape. And the grief is operational, Wormtail said. His grief produces magic, Voldemort said. The magic produces effects. The effects are uncontrolled, impressive, and uncontrolled. We should observe, Voldemort said. The observation tells me the boy's magic is emotional. The emotion is the fuel. The control is absent. The control is the boy's weakness, Voldemort said. The boy's magic is vast. The boy's control is minimal. The power without the control is a weapon that fires in all directions, including at US, Wormtail said. Including at everyone, Voldemort said. The boy is dangerous to his enemies and dangerous to his allies. The danger is indiscriminate. The observation was accurate. Harry's wandless output during the graveyard was indiscriminate. The environmental modification affected everything within the radius. The cracking headstones included headstones that Harry might have used for cover. The trembling earth affected the ground beneath Harry's own feet. The grief-driven output was a weapon that fired in all directions. The indiscriminate nature of the uncontrolled wandless output was the argument for Snape's occlumency training. The argument that said, without control, the power is as dangerous to the user as to the target. The argument that Dumbledore made to Harry in 5th year, you need to learn to direct the output rather than allowing the output to direct itself. The output directing itself is destruction, Dumbledore said. The output directed by you is strategy. Strategy requires control, Harry said. Strategy requires the valve, Dumbledore said. The occlumency valve that Severus will teach you. Snape is going to teach me to control my magic by teaching me to control my mind, Harry said. The mind and the magic are, for you, the same system, Dumbledore said. The emotional channel is the magical channel. Controlling the emotion controls the magic. Controlling emotion sounds like suppression, Harry said. Controlling emotion is management, Dumbledore said. The management of a resource. The resource is your emotional energy. The management is directing the resource towards specific outcomes rather than allowing the resource to produce chaotic effects. Managed emotions, Harry said. Managed magical output, Dumbledore said. The management is the difference between a flood and an irrigation system. Both involve water. One grows crops, the other destroys them. Year 6. The Half-Blood Prince's Spells Snape's Potions textbook, the Half-Blood Prince's annotated copy, produced an unexpected interaction with Harry's bilateral system. Sectum Sempra. The spell that Harry cast on Draco in the bathroom. The spell that cut. Harry cast Sectum Sempra through the wand, a wand spell, a precision spell directed at Draco. The wand channel delivered the spell at 60% capacity, but the wandless channel supplemented. The wandless channel, triggered by the combat emotion, added 40% to the spell's output. The supplementation was unintended. The occlumency valve was partially open. The valve that Harry had been learning to manage was imperfect, and the combat emotion pushed through the valve. The result? Sectum Sempra at 100% capacity. The full bilateral output. The spell that was designed to cut produced devastation. The cuts were deeper than the spell's designed output. The blood was more. The damage was more. What did you do? Snape said, arriving, looking at Draco, at the blood, at the cuts that were deeper than Sectum Sempra should produce. I cast Sectum Sempra, Harry said. You cast Sectum Sempra at full bilateral output, Snape said. The spell's designed damage at 60% is manageable. The spell at 100% is potentially lethal. You didn't mean to engage the wandless channel, Snape said. The channel engaged because the valve was open. The valve opened because the emotion was strong. The emotion was strong because you were fighting. I lost control, Harry said. You lost control of the valve, Snape said. Which is exactly the scenario I warned you about. The scenario where combat emotion overwhelms the occlumency valve and the wandless channel supplements the wand channel and the combined output produces excess. Excess damage, Harry said. Excess everything, Snape said. The valve is not a suggestion. The valve is not optional. The valve is the thing that prevents your magic from killing people when you're upset. People, Harry said, looking at Draco, at the blood. People, Snape confirmed, including people who deserve better than being cut open by an overpowered dark curse cast by a boy who cannot control his own magic. The incident was the lesson. The lesson that said the bilateral system was not just a tactical advantage. The bilateral system was a responsibility. The responsibility of a person whose full power output exceeded what any single spell was designed to produce. The responsibility was the valve. The occlumency valve. The constant, attended, never automatic management of the wandless channel. The management that prevented the 60% wand spells from becoming 100% bilateral spells. The management was exhausting. The management required constant attention. The management was the condition's cost, not just the split output, not just the weaker wand magic, but the constant cognitive work of managing the valve that prevented the wandless channel from supplementing the wand channel at every emotional moment. The cost of the condition was vigilance. The cost of the power was never relaxing. The cost of having two channels was managing two channels, constantly, forever, the mental work of keeping the valve at the right position while living the life that required the valve to be in position. Is it worth it? Ron asked, after the Draco incident. Is what worth it? Harry said. The wandless thing, Ron said. The bilateral thing. All of it. The weaker wand magic and the stronger wandless magic and the valve and the constant management. Is the condition worth having? The condition isn't something I have, Harry said. The condition is something I am. But if you could choose, Ron said, if you could choose to be standard, one channel, one dependent, normal, would I choose normal? Harry said. Would you? Ron said. Harry was quiet. The quiet was the considering of a question that he'd carried since Ollivander's diagnosis. The question of whether the bilateral system was a gift or a burden. The question that every person with an unusual condition eventually faced. Would you give it up? No, Harry said. No, Ron said. The wandless magic is me, Harry said. The wandless magic is the magic that I was born with. The magic that came before the wand. The magic that the wand was supposed to replace and couldn't. The wandless magic is original. It's the original me. The original you is inconvenient, Ron said. The original me is authentic, Harry said. The wand version is the adapted version. The wandless is what my magic chose to be. Before anyone gave me an instrument, before anyone told me how magic was supposed to work. How magic is supposed to work, Ron repeated. According to whom? According to 2,000 years of European wizarding tradition, Harry said. But before the tradition, before the wands, the magic worked the way mine works. From the body, through the emotion, without an instrument. You're a throwback, Ron said. I'm original, Harry said. Same thing, Ron said. Different framing, Harry said. Same magic, Ron said. Same magic, Harry agreed. And yeah, worth having. After, the children Harry and Ginny's children were tested for bilateral expression at birth. The testing was standard by the time James Sirius was born in 2004. The Wandless Magic Initiative had established bilateral expression screening as part of the St Mungo's neonatal assessment. James, standard. Single channel wand compatible. Albus, standard. Single channel wand compatible. Lily, bilateral. Dual channel expression. Wandless capable. She's like me, Harry told Ginny. When Lily's assessment came back. Lily was 3 days old. She has bilateral expression, Ginny said. Like you. She'll have the split output, the 60-40, the ambient effects, the condition. She'll have your condition and she'll have you, Ginny said. Which is more than you had. I had Ollivander and Hermione and trial and error, Harry said. Lily will have the Wandless Magic Initiative, the bilateral expression curriculum at Hogwarts, Adise Okafor, and a father who has spent 20 years learning to manage exactly what she has, Ginny said. The trial and error was yours. The knowledge is hers. The knowledge is, Ginny, the knowledge makes it easier, but the condition is still exhausting, Harry said. The condition is still hers, Ginny said, and she'll manage it. Because you managed it. Because the managing is teachable. The managing is teachable, Harry repeated. The magic is innate, Ginny said. The control is learned. You learned it. She'll learn it. With better teachers than I had, Harry said. With a father who destroyed Voldemort with his bare hands, Ginny said. That's a dramatic description of what happened, Harry said. That's an accurate description, Ginny said. You cast the killing blow wandlessly, from your palm. The magic came from your body. The magic always came from my body, Harry said. From everyone's body. The wand was the training wheel. Training wheels for 2,000 years, Ginny said. Time to take them off, Harry said. For Lily, Ginny said. For everyone, Harry said. The last scene. Adise's classroom, Hogwarts. 2020, Professor Adise Okafor's Wandless Magic Classroom. 3rd floor corridor. The classroom that had been added to the castle 15 years ago. The classroom that was empty. No desks. No chairs. No wands. Just an open space with a wood floor and windows that looked out over the lake. Hands, Adise said. To the class. 20 students. 3rd years. Elective, show me your hands. 20 students showed their hands. 20 pairs of hands, empty, wandless. The magic is in the hands, Adise said. The magic is in the body. The magic is in you. Not in the stick. Professor, a student started. Not in the stick, Adise repeated. The stick is a tool. The tool is useful. The tool is not necessary. The necessary is you. Harry watched from the doorway. Harry, at 40, head of the Auror Office, founder of the Wandless Magic Initiative, Harry watched a Wagadoo professor teach Hogwarts students what Harry had spent his entire life learning on his own. The magic was never in the wand. The magic was in the wizard. Professor Okafor, a student said. Can everyone do wandless magic? Or is it Is it only bilateral people? Everyone can do wandless magic, Adise said. The bilateral people, the people like Mr. Potter, they do it naturally. They do it because their magic never stopped. The rest of you, your magic stopped because the wand told it to stop. The wand said, channel through me. And the magic listened. Can we tell it to stop listening? The student said. You can tell it to listen to something else, Adise said. You can tell it to listen to you. To us, the student said. To your hands, Adise said. To your body. To the original system. The system that existed before wands. The system that exists in every wizarding culture that never adopted the European standard. How? The student said. Close your eyes, Adise said. Feel the magic. Not in your pocket where your wand is. In your chest. In your hands. In the place where the magic lived before you ever held a stick. 20 students closed their eyes. 20 students felt for the magic that was in their bodies, the magic that had always been there, the magic that the wand had co-opted, the magic that was original and authentic and theirs. One student produced a spark from her fingertip, a single, tiny, wandless spark. There, Adise said, looking at the spark. There it is. It's small, the student said. Everything is small at the beginning, Adise said. The beginning is the beginning. The beginning is not the end. Harry, at the doorway, watched the spark. The tiny spark from a student's fingertip, the spark that was the same magic that had grown Harry's hair back and turned a wig blue and vanished to glass and heated an alley and burst bathroom pipes and cleared corridors and repelled Death Eaters and ended a war. The spark was small. The spark was the beginning. The beginning was enough. Let us know what you'd like to see next. Additional scenes Year 1, The Mirror of Erised. Wandless version The Mirror of Erised showed Harry his parents. The standard vision, James, Lily, the family. But Harry's wandless channel interacted with the mirror's enchantment. The interaction was amplification. The mirror's enchantment was an emotional enchantment, and Harry's wandless channel amplified emotional magic. The amplified mirror showed more. The standard mirror showed a still image, the family standing, smiling. The amplified mirror showed movement, James waving, Lily mouthing words. The images responding to Harry's presence not as reflections but as interactive projections. They're moving, Harry told Ron. The third night, when Harry brought Ron to the mirror. Of course they're moving, Ron said. Wizard photographs move. They're not moving like photographs, Harry said. They're moving in response to me. Watch, Mum is looking at what I'm looking at. Dad is miming something. Miming what? Ron said. I think he's miming Quidditch, Harry said. He's pretending to catch a snitch. Your dead dad is miming Quidditch at you through a magic mirror, Ron said. My wandless magic is enhancing the mirror's enchantment, Harry said. The enchantment normally shows a static desire. My proximity is upgrading the enchantment. Your proximity is making the mirror better, Ron said. You upgrade enchantments by standing near them. I upgrade emotional enchantments by standing near them, Harry said. You upgrade emotional enchantments, Ron repeated. Harry, the Sorting Hat talked to you for 3 minutes. The portraits are chattier when you're around. The mirror is showing you interactive visions. Every emotional magical system responds to you. Because my wandless channel is the emotional channel, Harry said. And the emotional channel feeds emotional systems. You're a magical empath, Ron said. I'm a magical amplifier, Harry said. I amplify emotional magic, including, especially, other people's emotional enchantments. And the mirror is the most emotional enchantment in the castle, Ron said. The mirror is an enchantment that shows you what you want most in the world, Harry said. And my proximity is making it work better. Working better means the enchantment is deeper, Harry said. The enchantment normally shows a static image. With my amplification, the enchantment produces interaction, movement, response. Your wandless magic makes desire more vivid, Ron said. My wandless magic makes desire more present, Harry said. Which is dangerous. Dangerous how? Ron said. Dangerous because the mirror is already addictive, Harry said. Dumbledore told me men have wasted away in front of the mirror. If my proximity makes the mirror more compelling, then your proximity makes the mirror more addictive, Ron said. Then I need to stay away from the mirror, Harry said. You need to stay away from emotional enchantments, Ron said. I need to stay away from Ron. I need to stay away from everything that runs on emotion, Harry said. Mirrors, boggarts, love potions. Anything that love potions, Ron said. Your wandless magic would amplify love potions? My wandless magic would amplify the emotional component of any potion, Harry said, including love potions. So if someone gave you amortentia, the amortentia would be amplified by my wandless channel, and the amplification would produce super love potion, Ron said. Enhanced potency, wandless amplified, ultra strength love potion. That's a concern, Harry, Ron said. Your magical condition has just made you immune to love potions by making love potions too dangerous. I'm not immune, Harry said. I'm a love potion enhancement device. Same result, Ron said. Nobody can give you a love potion because the love potion would be too much. The too much is the condition, Harry said. The too much is always the condition. Year 3, Hogsmeade and the Butterbeer in 3rd year, Harry discovered that his wandless ambient output affected food and drink. The discovery happened at the Three Broomsticks. Harry ordered a butterbeer. The butterbeer arrived, standard, warm, the foamy beverage that every 3rd year consumed on Hogsmeade weekends. Harry drank the butterbeer. The butterbeer was enhanced. The warmth was warmer. The foam was foamier. The flavour was more. This butterbeer is incredible, Harry said. It's the same butterbeer I'm drinking, Ron said. It's not the same, Harry said. The warmth is... Try mine. Ron tried Harry's butterbeer. Ron's expression changed. That's not the same butterbeer, Ron said. Harry, that's amazing. Your ambient output is enhancing the butterbeer, Hermione said, looking at the glass. At the foam, which was spiralling in patterns that butterbeer foam did not normally form, the butterbeer is a mildly magical beverage. The magic content is minimal. Your proximity is amplifying the magic content. I make butterbeer better, Harry said. You make all magical beverages better, Hermione said. Pumpkin juice at the castle has been... Harry, pumpkin juice within your radius at the Gryffindor table has been noticeably warmer and more flavourful than pumpkin juice elsewhere at the table. The Gryffindor table pumpkin juice is better because I'm sitting there, Harry said. The Gryffindor table pumpkin juice is enhanced because your ambient output is enhancing the magical components of the juice, Hermione said. I'm a juice amplifier, Harry said. First I'm a magnet for liquids, and now I'm an amplifier for beverages. You enhance magical systems, Hermione said. Beverages with magical content are magical systems. Butterbeer is a magical system, Harry said. Butterbeer is a mildly magical system, Hermione said. The enhancement is proportional to the magical content. What about fire whiskey? Ron said. Fire whiskey has higher magical content, Hermione said. The enhancement would be strong, Ron said. Significant, Hermione said. We should test, Ron started. We should not test, Hermione said. We are 13. We should test eventually, Ron said. We should test never, Hermione said. Ron tested at 17. At the Hog's Head, with Harry present. The fire whiskey, enhanced by Harry's ambient output, produced effects that the bartender described as unprecedented, and that Ron described the following morning as death. I'm never drinking near you again, Ron said. The following morning, with a hangover that standard magic could not cure because the hangover had been produced by enhanced fire whiskey and the enhancement required enhanced hangover remedies. The hangover is enhanced, Hermione said, looking at Ron's green face. The hangover is enhanced because the fire whiskey was enhanced. The solution is, I don't know, enhanced pepper up. The solution is never drinking near Harry, Ron said. That's the simplest solution, Hermione agreed. Year 5. Umbridge's registry. Umbridge's attempt to register Harry's wandless capability produced a bureaucratic confrontation that demonstrated the Ministry's fundamental misunderstanding of what Harry was. The registration requires the classification of the unregistered magical capability, Umbridge said, in her office, with the kittens on the plates. The classification requires a demonstration. A demonstration, Harry said. You will demonstrate the wandless capability for the Ministry assessors, Umbridge said. The assessors will classify the capability. The classification will determine the regulatory framework. You want me to perform for the Ministry, Harry said. I want you to comply with the Regulation of Unclassified Magical Abilities Act, Umbridge said. The act that was drafted specifically to target me, Harry said. The act that applies to all wizards with all one of us, Harry said. The act applies to the one wizard in Britain with bilateral magical expression. The act scope is ME, Harry said. And I'm not demonstrating. Refusal to comply with Ministry assessment is a criminal offence under an act that's under judicial review, Harry said. Under an act that Augusta Longbottom has challenged as unconstitutional. Under an act that may not exist by the time the review is complete. The act currently exists, Umbridge said. The act currently exists and I currently refuse, Harry said. The refusal will be documented, Umbridge said. Document away, Harry said. My wandless magic doesn't produce paperwork for you to detect. The refusal was the stance. The stance that said the Ministry does not get to classify what it cannot understand. The Ministry does not get to regulate what it cannot detect. The Ministry's authority extends to the edges of its capability, and its capability does not extend to Harry's wandless channel. You can classify my wand magic, Harry told Dumbledore, after the confrontation. The wand magic is detectable. The wand magic uses registered instruments. The wand magic operates within the regulatory framework. And the wandless magic, Dumbledore said. The wandless magic is mine, Harry said. The wandless magic existed before the Ministry. The wandless magic existed before wands. The wandless magic is the magic that the human body produces without any instrument. The Ministry didn't create it. The Ministry doesn't understand it. And the Ministry does not get to classify it. The Ministry will disagree, Dumbledore said. The Ministry disagrees with everything, Harry said. The Ministry disagreed with Voldemort's return. The Ministry disagreed with Sirius's innocence. The Ministry disagrees with reality when reality inconveniences the Ministry. You sound bitter, Dumbledore said. I sound accurate, Harry said. The two are not mutually exclusive, Dumbledore said. Year 7. Ron without a wand during the Horcrux hunt. Ron's wand was broken. The breaking happened in a skirmish with snatchers. The wand snapped, the pieces falling, the breaking producing the same crisis that every wand-dependent wizard feared. My wand, Ron said, looking at the pieces. Ron? Hermione started. My wand, Ron repeated. Harry looked at Ron, at the broken one, at the friend who had, in 5th year, produced a wandless Lumos during an argument with Luna. At the friend whose wandless capability was dormant, limited but present. Use your hands, Harry said. My hands can't, your hands can, Harry said. Ron, You produced wandless lumos in the dar. Your hands can produce light. Your hands can... Ron? Your hands can do more than you think. I produced a glow, Ron said. I produced a glow while arguing. That's not combat magic. The glow was wandless magic, Harry said. The wandless magic exists in you. The wand suppressed it. The wand is broken. The suppression is gone, Hermione said. Ron, the wand attunement suppresses the wandless channel. Without the wand, the suppression is removed. The suppression is removed and the wandless channel is available, Harry said. Available at what capacity? Ron said. I don't know, Harry said. The day training produced partial results. But the day training was with an intact wand. The wand was still suppressing. Without the wand, the suppression lifts and the wandless channel might be more than a glow, Ron said. Try, Harry said. Ron tried. Ron raised his hands, the empty hands, the wandless hands, and focused on light, on the lumos intent, on the glow that he had produced in the room of requirement. The glow appeared. The glow was stronger, brighter. Without the wand's suppression, Ron's wandless capability was more. Not 40%, not Harry's level, but more than the dar glow. Perhaps 15% of a wand's output. That's light, Ron said, looking at his palm, at the wandless lumos. I'm making light, without a wand. 15%, Hermione estimated. Approximately 15% of a wand, Ron said. That's not nothing. 15% is a lumos and a basic shield charm, Harry said. 15% is... Ron, 15% is enough to survive. Enough to survive with glowing hands, Ron said. Enough to survive, Harry repeated. Ron fought the rest of the Horcrux hunt with wandless magic. 15%. Glowing hands. The basic spells, Lumos, Protego, a weak stunning spell that required close range and emotional intensity. The fighting was not elegant. The fighting was not powerful. The fighting was enough, Ron said, after the Locket's destruction, after the battle at Malfoy Manor, after the war. 15% was enough. 15% of Ron Weasley is enough for most things, Hermione said. That's either a compliment or an insult, Ron said. That's math, Hermione said, with a compliment inside. After, the morning walk Harry at 50. The morning. The walk to work. Harry walked. The walk was standard. The walk was through London, through the Muggle streets, through the crowd that did not know that the man walking among them was a wizard whose ambient magical output was enhancing every magical system within a 15-foot radius. The walk enhanced the charms on the traffic signals, the enchantments on the concealed entrance to the ministry, the magical protections on St. Mungo's. Harry noticed none of this. Harry had stopped noticing the ambient effects 30 years ago. The effects were the condition. The condition was the background. The background was life, morning, Harry said. To the barista at the coffee shop. The Muggle coffee shop that Harry visited every morning. Morning, the barista said, and produced Harry's coffee. The coffee that was slightly better than the coffee produced for other customers, because Harry's ambient output enhanced the water's thermal properties and the milk's texture and the espresso's extraction. Your coffee is always perfect, the barista told Harry. Must be the beans, Harry said. It's not the beans, the barista said. The beans are the same for everyone. Your coffee just comes out better. Must be luck, Harry said. Must be something, the barista said. Harry drank his enhanced coffee and walked to work, and the walking was the walking, and the condition was the condition, and the morning was a bilateral morning. Wand in the pocket. Wandless magic radiating. The world slightly better for the walking. The magic was in the wizard. The wizard was in the world. The world was enhanced. The enhancement was the condition. The condition was the life. The life was enough. More than enough. Let us know what you'd like to see next. Extra scenes. Year 2, Hagrid's expulsion from Hogwarts. His wand snapped in 3rd year. The accusation of opening the chamber took on a different meaning in the context of Harry's wandless capability. They snapped your wand, Harry told Hagrid. In the cabin. 2nd year. After the diary was found. 50 years ago, Hagrid said. The Ministry snapped it. Said I opened the chamber. You didn't open the chamber, Harry said. I know I didn't open the chamber, Hagrid said. But they snapped the wand, and that was supposed to be it. No more magic. But you still do magic, Harry said. The umbrella. The pink umbrella with the wand pieces inside. That's not... I don't... Hagrid was flustered. I don't do much magic. Hagrid, Harry said. Your magic works without the wand. The umbrella is a prop. The magic comes from you. The magic comes from the umbrella, Hagrid insisted. The magic comes from you, Harry said. The same way my magic comes from me. Your wand was snapped and your magic didn't stop. Your core didn't attune exclusively to the wand. Your core maintained the other channel. The other channel, Hagrid said. The wandless channel, Harry said. Hagrid, you're bilateral. Like me. I'm not. You light fires without the umbrella, Harry said. I've seen you. You wave your hand and the fire starts. You talk to creatures and the creatures respond. You grow pumpkins the size of cars. The pumpkins are just good soil. The pumpkins are your ambient magical output feeding the garden, Harry said. The same way my magic fed the Dursleys' garden, the same way my magic maintains plumbing and enhances enchantments. Your magic does the same thing. My magic does it? Hagrid said. Your creatures are healthier than they should be, Harry said. Your garden grows faster than any garden in Scotland. Your cabin is warmer than a building of that construction should be in December. Your magic is, Hagrid. Your magic has been leaking from your body for 50 years. Leaking, Hagrid said. Radiating, Harry corrected. Your wandless channel has been active since the Ministry snapped your wand. The snapping removed the wand, but didn't close the wandless channel. The channel was always there. The channel was always there, Hagrid repeated. You've been a wandless wizard for 50 years, Harry said, without knowing it. Hagrid was quiet. The quiet of a man who had spent 50 years believing that his magic was broken, that the wand snapping had rendered him incomplete, and who was being told that the magic had been working the entire time. Through a different channel, through his body, through the original system. 50 years, Hagrid said. 50 years I thought I was damaged. You're not damaged, Harry said. You're bilateral. Like me. Bilateral, Hagrid said, testing the word. 2 channels, Harry said. The wand channel, which was closed when they snapped the wand, and the wandless channel, which they couldn't close because the wandless channel doesn't need a wand. They couldn't take it because they didn't know it was there, Hagrid said. They couldn't take it because it's in you, Harry said. The magic is in the body. The wand is the tool. The body is the source. The body is the source, Hagrid repeated, looking at his enormous hands. At the hands that had been producing magic for 50 years without anyone, including Hagrid, understanding what was happening. The body has always been the source, Harry said. Hagrid looked at Harry. At the boy who had diagnosed in 10 minutes what the Ministry had failed to understand in 50 years, that snapping a wizard's wand did not eliminate the wizard's magic, that the magic was in the person, that the person was the thing that mattered. Thank ye, Hagrid said. Harry, thank ye. For what? Harry said. For telling me I'm not broken, Hagrid said. 50 years I thought, the wand snapping, I thought they took it. The magic. I thought they took the magic. They took the stick, Harry said. They never touched the magic. They took the stick, Hagrid repeated. Just the stick. Just the stick, Harry confirmed. Year 4. The wand-weighing ceremony before the Triwizard Tournament produced an interesting moment when Ollivander examined Harry's wand. Holly and Phoenix Feather, Ollivander said, turning the wand in his fingers. I remember selling this wand. I remember buying it, Harry said. The wand is in good condition, Ollivander said. The wand is underused. Underused, Harry said. The wand shows less wear than I would expect for 3 years of daily use, Ollivander said. The wand has been supplemented by the wandless channel, Harry said. Quietly, so the other champions wouldn't hear. The wandless channel handles approximately 40% of your magical output, Ollivander said. The wand handles 60%. The wand's wear corresponds to 60% usage. The wand is aging at 60% of the normal rate. My wand is younger than it should be, Harry said. Your wand is less used than it should be, Ollivander said. Because your body is doing 40% of the work. The wand and the body are partners, unequal partners. The body does more than the wand thinks, Harry said. The body has always done more than the wand knows, Ollivander said, since 382 BC. Since the first Ollivander sold the first wand, and the first wizard's body quietly continued doing what it had always done. The wandless channel never fully closed, Harry said. In most wizards, the wandless channel reduces to approximately 2%, Ollivander said. The residual 2% produces the occasional unexplained effect, the feeling that someone is watching you, the prickle on the back of the neck, the inexplicable sense that something is wrong. Magical intuition, Harry said. Residual wandless perception, Ollivander said. The 2% that the wand attunement doesn't suppress. The 2% that reminds the body, the magic is still here. The magic was never in the stick. 2% for most people, Harry said. 40% for me. 40% for you, Ollivander confirmed. Which makes you, Mr. Potter, which makes you the most visible reminder in the wizarding world that the magic was never in the stick. Year 7, the wand breaks during the Battle of Hogwarts. Harry's wand broke. The breaking happened in the 7th floor corridor. A Death Eater's curse, a blasting hex, deflected by Harry's shield charm but catching the wand at an angle. The Holly and Phoenix Feather wand, which had served Harry for 6 years and which had channeled 60% of his magical output, cracked, split. The Phoenix Feather core exposed. Harry held the broken wand. The pieces, the instrument that had been his partner since Ollivander's. My wand, Harry said, looking at the pieces. Harry, Hermione started. I'm fine, Harry said, and put the pieces in his pocket, and raised his hands. Both hands, empty, wandless, are you, Ron said. I'm fine, Harry repeated. The wand was 60%. The 60% is gone. I'm at 40. Wandless, full wandless. 40% of combat magic at double strength is 80%, Harry said. The emotional channel amplifies. The wand was precision. The precision is gone. The power is still here. The power is in you, Ron said. The power was always in me, Harry said. The wand helped aim. And now? Hermione said. Now I'm a shotgun instead of a rifle, Harry said. A what? Ron said. Muggle thing, Harry said. Widespread instead of accurate aim. Widespread in a corridor full of Death Eaters, Ron said. Widespread in a corridor full of enemies and no allies, Harry said. Which is... Ron, this is what the wandless magic was built for. Environmental modification. Area effect. The magic radiates from my body and affects everything in the radius. The repulsion field, Hermione said. The repulsion field, Harry confirmed. At full wandless engagement. Harry engaged. The field activated. The corridor filled with ambient magic, the radiated output of a wizard whose wand had broken, and whose body was now the sole channel for a magical core that had been producing at bilateral capacity for 6 years. The Death Eaters in the corridor were pushed back. The walls hummed, the floor vibrated. The enchantments in the castle's stonework responded. The pre-wand enchantments, recognizing the wandless output, amplifying it, the castle and Harry collaborating. "The castle is helping," Hermione said. "The castle has been waiting for this," Harry said. "The castle was built for wandless wizards. The castle has been waiting 1,000 years for someone who speaks its language. The castle's language is wandless," Ron said. "The castle's language is the original language," Harry said. "The language before wands. The language of the body." Harry fought the Battle of Hogwarts without a wand. From the 7th floor corridor to the Great Hall. Through the castle that responded to his wandless output like an instrument responding to a musician. Through the corridors that narrowed for Death Eaters and widened for defenders. Through the building that had been waiting for 1,000 years for the person who could speak to it without a stick. The final duel, the Expelliarmus against the Killing Curse, was wandless. From Harry's palm. Through the body. Through the original channel. The magic came from Harry. The magic had always come from Harry. The wand had been the intermediary. The intermediary was broken. The magic remained. The magic was in the wizard. The wizard was sufficient. After the broken wand, Harry kept the broken wand. The pieces sat on the mantelpiece in the Hogsmeade cottage, the same cottage where McGonagall had, in another timeline, raised a different Harry. In this timeline, the cottage was Harry and Ginny's, and the mantelpiece held photographs, a Quidditch trophy, and the broken pieces of a holly and phoenix feather wand. "You could fix it," Ginny said, looking at the pieces. "The Elder Wand could fix it." "I don't want to fix it," Harry said. "You don't want your wand back?" Ginny said. "I don't need my wand back," Harry said. "I spent the last 6 months of the war without a wand. I fought the final battle without a wand. I defeated Voldemort without a wand." "You defeated Voldemort with your hands," Ginny said. "I defeated Voldemort with my magic," Harry said, "which is in my hands, and my body, and everywhere. So the broken wand is a reminder," Ginny said. "The broken wand is the evidence," Harry said. "The evidence that the magic was never in the stick. The evidence that the evidence that every wizard in the world is carrying magic in their bodies and channeling it through a 2,000-year-old intermediary that they don't need." "They might need it," Ginny said. "Most people can't do what you do." "Most people haven't tried," Harry said. "Most people have never been forced to try. The wand broke and I was forced, and the forcing proved the magic works without the stick. The magic works differently without the stick," Ginny said. "The magic works originally without the stick," Harry said. "The original system. The pre-wand system. The system that every human body carries, and that the wand industry has been suppressing for 2 millennia. "You sound like you're starting a revolution," Ginny said. "I'm starting a curriculum," Harry said. "The Wandless Magic Initiative. The curriculum that teaches every Hogwarts student what I learnt by accident. The magic is in the body." "And the broken wand on the mantelpiece?" Ginny said. "The broken wand is the thesis statement," Harry said. "A thesis statement made of wood and phoenix feather," Ginny said. "The best thesis statements are physical," Harry said. "The best thesis statements are words," Ginny said. "The words are, the magic was never in the stick," Harry said. "The magic was in the wizard. The magic was always in the wizard. The stick was a tool. The tool is broken. The wizard remains. The broken wand sat on the mantelpiece. The pieces. The evidence. The thesis. The wizard remained. Last scenes. Year 1. Hermione and the Library Hermione's research into wandless magic produced the document that would eventually become the foundation of the Wandless Magic Initiative's curriculum. "I've found 17 sources," Hermione said. October, first year. In the library, with a stack of books that was approximately 3 feet tall. 17 sources documenting pre-wand magical practice in Europe. 17, Harry said. 17 sources, and all of them agree on the same point. Pre-wand magic was stronger for emotional and combat applications than wand magic, Hermione said. Stronger for combat, Harry said. The pre-wand combat wizards were, the historical accounts describe them as irresistible in the field, Hermione said. The accounts are, probably exaggerated. Historical accounts often are. But the consistent description across 17 independent sources suggests a kernel of truth. The kernel being, wandless combat magic was formidable, Harry said. The kernel being, wandless combat magic had an advantage that wand combat magic sacrificed, Hermione said. The advantage was, you could not be disarmed. The tactical implications of an army that cannot be disarmed are significant. The European wizarding authorities adopted wands despite losing combat advantage, Harry said. The authorities adopted wands because the combat advantage was frightening, Hermione said. A population of wandless combat wizards was a population that the authorities could not control. The wand standardization was a disarmament program. A disarmament program disguised as technological advancement, Harry said. The wand was better for precision, for education, for standardized magical practice, Hermione said. The wand was worse for combat, for individual autonomy, for freedom. The trade-off was better education in exchange for state control over magical capability. The wizarding world traded freedom for school, Harry said. The wizarding world traded uncontrollable combat magic for regulatable precision magic, Hermione said. The trade was made by authorities who were afraid of their own population, and now I'm the population they were afraid of, Harry said. Now you're the evidence that the population they were afraid of still exists, Hermione said. In potential. In everyone. In everyone's 2%, Harry said. In everyone's suppressed wandless channel, Hermione said. Which is, Harry, the channel is suppressed, not eliminated. The wand attunement suppresses the wandless channel but doesn't destroy it. Every wizard alive has a wandless channel. Every wizard alive could do what I do, Harry said. Every wizard alive could do some of what you do, Hermione said. At lower capacity, with training, with the removal of the suppression. The removal of the suppression requires what? Breaking the wand? Harry said. The removal of the suppression requires practice, Hermione said. The dash showed that wandless capability can be awakened in wand-attuned wizards through practice. The practice is slow. The results are modest. But the capability is there. It's there in everyone, Harry said. It's there in everyone, Hermione confirmed. Waiting. Year 3. The Marauders map responded to Harry's wandless output in ways that the map's creators, James, Sirius, Remus, Peter, had not anticipated. I solemnly swear that I am up to no good, Harry said. Tapping the map. The map opened. Standard. The corridors. The people. The dots moving through the castle. But the map also showed Harry's ambient field. The map showed a circle around Harry's dot, a shaded area, approximately 15 feet in radius, representing the zone where Harry's wandless output affected the environment. The map is showing your field, Hermione said, looking over his shoulder. The map didn't do that for anyone else, Harry said. The map was made by your father, Hermione said. The map was enchanted by James Potter. And James Potter, Harry? Was James Potter bilateral? I don't know, Harry said. Dad had a wand. Dad used a wand. But the map's enchantment includes a feature that only activates for bilateral wizards, Hermione said. The field display, the ambient zone indicator. That feature was built into the map. Dad built a feature into the map that only I can see, Harry said. Your father built a feature into the map that only a bilateral wizard can activate, Hermione said. Which suggests James Potter knew about bilateral expression. Dad knew about wandless magic, Harry said. Your father may have had wandless magic, Hermione said. The bilateral expression may be hereditary. The map's feature may have been James's way of documenting his own condition. Dad's condition, Harry said, looking at the map. At the field display that his father had built into a magical artifact 30 years ago, at the evidence that James Potter, the prankster, the Quidditch star, the marauder, had carried the same bilateral expression that Harry carried. The bilateral expression passed from James to you, Hermione said. The magic passed from my body to my body, Harry said. Not through a wand, through inheritance, through genetics, Hermione said. The bilateral expression is genetic. Inherited, passed through the bloodline. The Potter family is bilateral, Harry said. The Potter family may have been bilateral for generations, Hermione said. The Potters may be one of the families that never fully attuned to wands. One of the families that kept the original system, Harry said. One of the families that maintained the pre-wand capability alongside the wand capability, Hermione said. Silently, for centuries. Using wands publicly while maintaining the wandless channel privately. The Potter's secret, Harry said. The Potter's inheritance, Hermione said. Harry looked at the map, at the field display, at the feature his father had hidden in a school prank artifact, the feature that said, I knew. I had this too. The magic is in the body. The magic has always been in the body. The map was the evidence. The map was James Potter's message to his son, the message that said, you're not alone. The bilateral expression is not a condition. The bilateral expression is the family magic. The family magic, Harry said, to the map, to his father's enchantment. The map did not respond. The map was a map. But the field display glowed, faintly, warmly, the enchantment responding to Harry's ambient output, the father's magic responding to the son's magic, the bilateral expression recognizing itself across the decades. Year 6. Luna's observation, you hum, Luna said. In the corridor. 6th year. Casually, I don't hum, Harry said. You do, Luna said. Not with your mouth, with your magic. Your ambient output produces a frequency. The frequency is audible to people who listen correctly. People who listen correctly, Harry repeated. People who listen with their magical perception rather than their ears, Luna said. Most people don't listen that way. I do. What does my humming sound like? Harry said. It sounds like a cello playing in the next room, Luna said. Low, warm, constant. The pitch changes when you're emotional, higher when you're happy, lower when you're sad. I'm a magical cello, Harry said. You're a person whose magic produces audible resonance, Luna said. The resonance it's nice. The humming is nice. Nobody else has mentioned the humming, Harry said. Nobody else listens correctly, Luna said. How do you listen correctly? Harry said. You stop listening to the noise and listen to the music, Luna said. The noise is the everyday sounds, the talking, the footsteps, the conventional sounds. The music is underneath. The music is the magical resonance that everything produces. Everything produces magical resonance? Harry said. Everything magical produces resonance, Luna said. Wands produce a high-pitched resonance. thin, precise. Enchantments produce mid-range resonance, structured, repetitive. Your wandless output produces the cello, low and warm and present, and other people's wandless residual, Harry said. The 2%? Other people's 2% produces, a whisper, Luna said. Almost inaudible. The whisper of magic that hasn't been used in 2,000 years. A whisper of the original system, Harry said. A whisper of the body's music, Luna said. The music that the wand drowns out. The wand drowns out the body's music, Harry said. The wand is a louder instrument, Luna said. The body's music is quiet, original, the music that the first wizards heard before anyone invented a stick. Before 382 BC, Harry said. Before sticks, Luna said. Before instruments, before the noise. The music was just the body. The body's singing. The body's singing magic, Harry said. The body's singing itself, Luna said. The magic is the song. The body is the singer. The wand is a microphone. A microphone, Harry said. Amplification through an external device, Luna said. The amplification is useful. The amplification is not the music. The music is the body, Harry said. The music is you, Luna confirmed. The music has always been you. The very last morning Harry at 55. The kitchen. The coffee. The morning. The ambient field was present, always present. The 15-foot radius of enhanced magical environment that Harry produced continuously, unconsciously, the permanent condition of a bilateral wizard whose wandless channel had been active for 54 years. The coffee was enhanced. The toast was warmer. The morning light through the kitchen window was slightly brighter, the ambient magic affecting the photons in ways that Hermione could explain and that Harry did not care to understand. Ginny was across the table. The children were grown. The grandchild, James's daughter, 3 years old, bilateral, was visiting. The grandchild was sitting on the floor, making blocks float without touching them. She's doing it, Ginny said, looking at the blocks, at the floating, at the wandless levitation that a 3-year-old was producing through the bilateral channel that she had inherited from her grandfather. She's doing it, Harry confirmed, looking at his granddaughter, at the blocks, at the magic that came from her body, from her hands, from the original system that the Potter family had maintained for centuries. He doesn't know it's unusual, Ginny said. It's not unusual, Harry said. The wandless magic is the original system. The wand magic is the adaptation. She's doing the original thing. The original thing that got you banned from potions class, Ginny said. The original thing that saved the world, Harry said. Both things, Ginny said. Both things, Harry confirmed. The blocks floated. The granddaughter laughed. The ambient field hummed. Harry's field and, faintly, the granddaughter's field. The two fields overlapping. The two bilateral signatures recognizing each other the way the map's enchantment had recognized Harry. The way the castle's enchantments had recognized Harry. The way every magical system in the world recognized the body's original music. The music was quiet. The music was warm. The music was the magic, expressed through the body, without an instrument, without a stick, without anything except the person. The person was enough. The body was enough. The magic had always been enough. The blocks floated. The granddaughter laughed. The morning continued. The morning was magic. The magic was morning. The two had always been the same thing. Let us know what you'd like to see next. Year 2. The Whomping Willow incident. Ron's broken wand. The flying car, the tree, produced an unexpected wandless interaction. When the car crashed into the willow attacked. Standard behaviour. The willow was enchanted to strike anything that entered its range. The car, with Harry and Ron inside, was being battered by branches. Harry's fight or flight response activated the wandless channel. The activation produced, calming, the same environmental modification effect that Harry's wandless magic produced in every crisis. The nearest system was modified. The nearest system was the tree. The Whomping Willows slowed. The branches, which had been striking the car at full force, reduced to tapping. The ambient magical output from Harry's wandless channel interacted with the Willow's enchantment, the emotional channel producing a calming effect on the enchanted plant the way the emotional channel had calmed the bathroom pipes and the classroom candles. The tree stopped, Ron said, looking out the window. The tree didn't stop, Harry said. The tree slowed. The ambient thing. The wandless output it's calming the enchantment. Your magic is calming a violent tree, Ron said. My magic is interacting with the Willow's enchantment, Harry said. The enchantment is emotional. The Willow is enchanted to respond to perceived threats with aggression. My ambient output is modifying the threat perception. You're telling the tree you're not a threat, Ron said. My magic is telling the tree I'm not a threat, Harry said, through the ambient field. The field is producing a frequency that the enchantment interprets as non-threatening. You're a tree whisperer, Ron said. Ron, please don't call me a tree whisperer. You whispered to a tree, Ron said, through magic. The tree listened. You are a tree whisperer. I am a bilateral wizard whose ambient output temporarily modifies adjacent enchantment behavior, Harry said. Tree whisperer, Ron said. The Willow resumed full aggression approximately 30 seconds after Harry and Ron exited the car. The resumption was, the ambient calming required Harry's proximity. Without proximity, the enchantment reverted to default. The calming effect is proximity dependent, Hermione noted. Later, when informed, the ambient field calms enchantments within the radius. Outside the radius, the enchantments resume normal function. So I can only calm things I'm standing next to, Harry said. You can only modify things within approximately 15 feet, Hermione said. The modification is temporary, proximity dependent, real time. I'm a localized enchantment modifier, Harry said. You're a tree whisperer, Ron said, from across the room. I am not a tree whisperer, Ron insisted, and ducked the pillow Harry threw at him. The pillow, thrown by Harry's hand, was enhanced by Harry's ambient output. The pillow hit Ron harder than a pillow should hit. The hitting was the condition that enhanced everything near Harry, including projectiles. Even your pillows are enhanced, Ron said, rubbing his arm. Even my pillows, Harry confirmed. The condition is comprehensive. The condition is aggressive, Ron said. The condition is everything, Harry said. Year 4. The Yule Ball produced the most unexpected ambient effect of Harry's Hogwarts career. The Great Hall was enchanted for the ball, the decorations, the music, the dancing. The enchantments were festive, elaborate, the full production of a formal wizarding event. Harry attended. Harry danced. Awkwardly, because Harry's combat capabilities did not extend to coordination in formal settings. Harry was present in the Great Hall for approximately 3 hours. During those 3 hours, Harry's ambient output interacted with the bull's enchantments. The interaction produced enhancement. The decorations were brighter. The music was better. The enchanted snow that fell from the ceiling was colder and more realistic. The fairy lights were warmer. The ball is beautiful tonight, McGonagall said. To Dumbledore, at the staff table. Mr. Potter is present, Dumbledore said. Mr. Potter is always are, McGonagall said, understanding the ambient enhancement. The ambient enhancement is making the ball approximately 20% more festive, Dumbledore said. The enchantments are responding to Mr. Potter's proximity. The ball is better because Harry is here, McGonagall said. The ball is enhanced because a bilateral wizard's ambient output is amplifying every enchantment in the room, Dumbledore said. He enhances parties, McGonagall said. He enhances everything, Dumbledore said. Parties are included. The most strategically significant magical capability in Britain, McGonagall said, and it makes parties better. Strategy and festivity are not mutually exclusive, Dumbledore said. In this case, McGonagall said, they are complementary. Harry did not know about the enhancement. Harry was too busy dancing badly and stepping on Parvati's feet. The dancing was the normal part. The enhancement was the condition. The condition operated whether Harry knew about it or not. The ball was beautiful. The ball was 20% more beautiful because Harry was in the room. The 20% was invisible, unattributed, the silent contribution of a person whose presence made everything around him slightly more magical. The contribution was the condition. The condition was the life. The life was enhanced. Everything around Harry was enhanced. Everything around Harry had always been enhanced. Since the cupboard at Privet Drive, where the plumbing ran clean and the wood stayed preserved and the space was warmer than it should have been. Since the first day at Hogwarts, where the candles burned brighter and the portraits talked more, and the castle hummed in recognition. The enhancement was the magic. The magic was in the body. The body was present. The presence was enough. Year 5. Grimmauld Place number 12, Grimmauld Place, the Black family home, the Order headquarters, responded to Harry's presence in ways that the building's existing enchantments had not anticipated. The house was old. The house was enchanted, dark enchantments, Black family protections, centuries of magical accumulation. The enchantments were hostile, designed by generations of pure-blood supremacists who had warded their home against threats. Harry entered, and the enchantments, recalibrated. The recalibration was the ambient field's effect on hostile enchantments. The field did not disable the enchantments. The field modified them. The emotional output interacting with the enchantment's intent detection systems. The ambient calming effect that had slowed the Whomping Willow now operating on a house-wide scale. The curtain didn't scream, Sirius said. On Harry's third day at Grimmauld Place, looking at the portrait of his mother, Walburga Black, which had been screaming at everyone who entered the hallway since the Order occupied the house. She's quiet, Lupin said. She's never quiet, Sirius said. She screams at everyone. She screams at everyone whose magical signature triggers the portrait's threat detection enchantment, Hermione said. Harry's ambient output is modifying the threat detection. The portrait's enchantment is registering Harry as non-threatening. My mother's portrait thinks Harry is non-threatening, Sirius said. Your mother's portrait thinks Harry's ambient magical frequency is compatible, Hermione said. The frequency is warm. Calm, the enchantment interprets warmth and calm as non-threatening. My mother was never warm, Sirius said. My mother interpreted everything as threatening. The enchantment interprets Harry's specific frequency as compatible, Hermione said. The compatibility overrides the default hostility. Harry calms my dead mother, Sirius said. Harry's ambient output calms every enchantment within 15 feet, Hermione said, including portraits of deceased pure-blood supremacists. My ambient output, Harry said. My involuntary magical condition calms screaming portraits of dead racists. The condition is versatile, Ron said. The condition is ridiculous, Harry said. The Walburga portrait remained silent whenever Harry was within the ambient radius. The silence was appreciated. The silence allowed the Order to use the hallway without triggering the screaming. The silence was, in its own way, Harry's contribution to the war effort, not combat, not intelligence, but the calming of a hostile domestic enchantment through the passive emission of warm ambient magic. You've contributed more to this household by standing in the hallway than most people contribute through active effort, Sirius said. I'm a hallway ornament, Harry said. You're a calming hallway ornament, Sirius said. The most useful kind. The house responded to Harry in other ways. The taps ran cleaner, the fires burned warmer, the enchanted furniture was less aggressive. The responding was the condition operating on a building-wide scale, every enchantment in the house modified by Harry's proximity. The modifications were subtle, positive, the ambient magic enhancing the livable and calming the hostile. The house likes you, Creature said. One evening, in the kitchen. The observation delivered with the grudging respect of a house elf who had served the Black family for decades and who had never seen the house respond to a resident the way it responded to Harry. The house doesn't have feelings, Harry said. The house has enchantments, Creature said. And the enchantments have preferences. Enchantments don't have preferences, Harry said. Master Harry's magic makes the enchantments, content, Creature said. The contentment is visible. To Creature, who has served the enchantments for 60 years. The enchantments are content, Harry said. The enchantments are content, Creature confirmed. And the contentment is unprecedented. The contentment was the ambient field. The field was the condition. The condition was, wherever Harry went, the magic was slightly better. The enchantments worked slightly more smoothly. The hostile became slightly calmer. The world within 15 feet of Harry Potter was enhanced. The enhancement was not power. The enhancement was not combat capability. The enhancement was presence. The quality of being present in a space and making the space slightly better through the unconscious, continuous bilateral emission of magic from a body that had never learnt to stop. The body had never learnt to stop because the body had never been told to stop. The wand had tried. The wand attunement had attempted to suppress the wandless channel and had achieved 60% suppression. The remaining 40% was Harry, original, permanent, the permanent magic. The body's magic. The magic that was never in the stick. The magic was in the wizard. The wizard was in the world. The world was better for it. Let us know what you'd like to see next. Year 6. The vanishing cabinet in the room of requirement was the enchantment that nobody could fix until Harry walked past it. Draco had been trying to repair the cabinet for months. The repair required restoring the connection between the Hogwarts cabinet and its twin at Borgin and Berks. The connection was a paired enchantment. Each cabinet contained half of the link. The link had been broken. Draco could not repair it. Harry entered the room of requirement in March, not for the cabinet, but for the Dar meeting space. The room configured for the Dar. Harry's ambient field radiated through the room. The cabinet responded. The cabinet, sitting in the corner of the room's cluttered alternate configuration, buzzed. The buzzing was the paired enchantment recognizing Harry's ambient output. The enchantment, which was pre-wand in origin, responding to the wandless frequency that Harry produced. Harry did not notice. Harry was conducting a delesson. Harry's ambient field was modifying every enchantment in the room, including the cabinets. The modification was repair. Harry's ambient output, interacting with the pre-wand enchantment, restored approximately 15% of the broken connection. The restoration was passive, unintended, the ambient field doing what the ambient field always did, enhancing nearby magical systems. Draco noticed. Draco, who had been checking the cabinet daily, noticed that the cabinet was partially functional after the DAR meeting. The partial functionality was inexplicable. Draco had not done anything to the cabinet that day. Something repaired the cabinet, Draco told Snape. In confidence. In the dungeons. Repaired it how? Snape said. Partially, Draco said. The connection is 12% restored. The restoration happened between Tuesday and Wednesday. What happened between Tuesday and Wednesday? Snape said. I don't know, Draco said. I wasn't in the room between Tuesday and Wednesday. Who was in the room between Tuesday and Wednesday? Snape said. Draco considered. The room of requirement was used by the DA. The DA met on Tuesday evenings. Potter was in the DA. Potter was the bilateral wizard whose ambient output enhanced every enchantment within 15 feet. Potter, Draco said. Potter's ambient output may have interacted with the cabinet's enchantment, Snape said. Potter accidentally repaired the cabinet I've been trying to fix for 6 months, Draco said, by standing near it. Potter's ambient output enhances pre-wand enchantments, Snape said. The cabinet's enchantment is pre-wand. The enhancement produced partial restoration. He fixed it by existing, Draco said. He partially restored it by producing ambient magical enhancement in its vicinity, Snape said. He fixed it by existing, Draco said. The distinction between fixing and enhancing is irrelevant, Draco said. Potter's mere presence repairs things that I've spent months trying to fix. Potter's existence is more productive than my effort. The observation is accurate if painful, Snape said. The observation is infuriating, Draco said. The partial repair accelerated Draco's timeline. Draco completed the remaining restoration using the 15% that Harry's ambient output had provided as a foundation. The completion enabled the Death Eater infiltration. The infiltration enabled Dumbledore's death. The irony was, Harry's wandless magic, operating passively, had contributed to the event that killed Dumbledore. The contribution was unintentional, unconscious, the ambient field doing what the ambient field always did, enhancing nearby magic, without regard for the consequences. The consequences were the condition's shadow. The condition enhanced everything. Everything included hostile enchantments, dark artifacts, and the tools of the enemy. The enhancement was indiscriminate. The enhancement was the condition's cost, the magic improved the world, and the improvement included things that should not have been improved. The cost was the lesson. The ambient field was not moral. The ambient field was not selective. The ambient field enhanced everything within radius. Good, bad, hostile, friendly. The field was a force, and forces did not distinguish between purposes. The management of the field, the occlumency valve, the constant attention, the lifelong discipline was the response to the lesson. The management said, the field is powerful. The power requires control. The control is the person's responsibility. The responsibility was the condition. The condition was the life. The life was managed.